the Azir mid. It's going to give the ability, even though the CS difference between mid is quite small, Yone should be able to recover and get a lot more CS, given the fact he has to lane into range champions. He's in the longer lane without a tower. He can also run down the enemy.
For sure. I'd even like to see the Ziggs rotated up to top lane here since that tower is so low. With
Oh
those 2
yeah,
minutes, I think you finish off the top lane turret and then roam mid and try to get as many plates as possible. I think that's what the Ziggs is really good at, but they're keeping a mid lane right now just to keep the game stable. I think they're valuing keeping their mid lane turret up and not giving those plates and not letting it fall compared to getting more plates on the Ziggs, which I don't think is a bad decision when the Ezreal is quite as bad as he is.
yeah. I think something they have Dognitas has to be concerned about. I want your thoughts. Never mind. We're gonna see Brisky get engaged on. The ultimate comes down from Leona. He has the E. He's gonna see the flash comes out from Brisky to dodge the follow up, and the ultimate from Ezreal will connect. So that's going to be 2 ults for the flash from Brisky. And meanwhile, the Catalysm comes down. Yone's going to be on the other side. We're going to see the Nocturne re-engage. They're going to go back onto the Soraka. Soraka is going to be pure side at 1 HP. The Ziggs ults come down. She will fall. Ryan's trying to do some good damage as Hamza goes in. Loki's going to hit him. We're going to see the Shen ult come down to save Ryan. Meanwhile, Proton Flash re-engage. The shuffle from Neversaw is going to be there. Jason will fall. Meanwhile, Proton Plat playing around his cooldowns. Oak trying to get something done for himself. The flash will be canceled. It will save the Ziggs, but it's going to be another winning fight for GPR.
Yeah, I mean, Neversaw coming in with the shuffle there was really, really pivotal for that fight. It wasn't looking great, but Proton Plat player and Neversaw combining their ults there just really turned that around. That was a fantastic way to bait that out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they spent so many resources trying to kill the Soraka.
Yeah, I mean, Soraka, everyone knows that the Soraka needs to die, right? Because if you don't kill her, she just keeps all of her teammates alive. But it's such a thin line of killing the Soraka and not overextending trying to kill her. I do want to mention that we saw Camille use the Hextech ultimatum on the Shen on the top side, and they didn't even get Shen below like 75% HP when they went for that. Which goes to show you how strong this Shen pickup was. He's so tanky and he's not dying.
Yeah,
he's playing the lane exceptionally well.
It can be pretty rough with the gold deficit that you normally would expect the Shen Camille matchup to have. You expect Shen to be behind, but given the fact that he was able to get 2 kills, he's able to get a large amount of CS compared to the Camille in this matchup. He's not that far behind, and he already has a completed item, and for the most part, he's going to be able to do his job just as well for the next about 8 minutes until he gets another item. He's not going to become any weaker compared to his opponent who needs gold, and he can just look for trades.
Yeah, I mean, he's winning these trades massively as Loco Poco did take the tower, doesn't have the Triforce, but is getting run down by the Shen, just backing off. I'm assuming he knew that Jarvan was near the area and is just playing it safe. But I do want to call out that Shen also did not get any jungle attention by Proton Plat player. He let Jarvan go exactly where the team needed him, which was typically this mid-bot side. And he was picking up all these advantages solo and avoiding the ganks from the side of Dognitas. So just really masterful Shen gameplay so far.
Yeah. We're going to see Brisky go for this trade, and he, even though he gets chunked out pretty bad, Jason is near in this top side, but so is Proton Plat. They're both hovering. They both have vision on each other, and they're playing for this Herald.
Yeah, a big fight with the Herald, but with the Ezreal with Ryan so close to this Herald on top side, I'm not sure if Dognitas really want to fight this. I'd rather see them put more resources into grabbing bot lane vision and helping your Yone push out that wave. Maybe looking to pick Neversaw even, because right now I think you just need to play opposite of the Ezreal until you start to catch up in gold a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I think the question that I have though, Juan, is what can they do to maximize this Ziggs pick even more? I mean, he is doing okay, but compared to the Ezreal, he is behind. Ezreal's going to hit a pretty strong spike in a few minutes when he finishes that Manamune into Miramana.
Yeah, Flash. I think the biggest thing with the Ziggs pick is just having the confidence to put it into the side lanes and let somebody else hold down mid lane. Because Ziggs doesn't play like a traditional AD carry where you want him to be safe and just farm out the mid wave and rotate fights, right? You want Ziggs to take towers and to get gold. And what towers are worth the most gold? The side lane tier 2s. Those are worth 700 each. And I think giving Ziggs the ability to get those is your best way to catch him back up in the game and also just accelerate him to be that win condition.
For sure, no, I completely agree. I mean, we're going to see the Herald get taken. It's going to be the second objective for Dognitas, and I want to know your opinion on the drag situation for this game. We saw a steal come away from Asian Jason earlier, but I think Dragon stacking on the side of Dognitas is actually pretty advantageous. They don't want to give the Azir, they don't want to give the Ezreal more time to scale. They want this game to have a very early Elder Dragon.
I completely agree. I also want to call out that it is going to be Mountain Soul this game, and I think Mountain is a very scary soul for the Ezreal, for the Azir to have when you're playing the Ziggs, when you're playing the Yone, when you're playing the Camille. A lot of these champs have very in and out trade patterns. They can poke you a lot. I mean, Ziggs obviously a very famous poke champion, and if they have that extra Mountain Shield on them, it's really hard to break through that and actually get into their HP. On top of life steal, so many things for them to regen back up. So I think giving over that Mountain Sword just makes it so dangerous to play because it makes fights impossible.
Oh, we're seeing the ultimate get dropped down. Meanwhile, Ryan's going to go under. Now we're going to see the Proton flat player. Meanwhile, Ryan's under tower against Poke. Poke's looking for him. Poke will get the kill. He will get the shutdown. He will walk and trade 1-for-1. Meanwhile, Brissy is going to see engaged on top of him. The shield will protect their jungler from having any real problems. They'll trade 2-for-1. And that is not what you want to see when Dragon is a minute off the clock.
No, just a little bit greedy. It looks like they're just looking for a fight. I mean, I think they had an okay angle, but Proton Plat player found a better one and was able just to kill Nico immediately. And I think as soon as your Ziggs falls, you guys need to try to get out. Like, it's nice that Loco Poco picked up the Ezreal shutdown, and it's good to put gold on your Camille, but I don't know if you want to do that at the cost of a dragon, right? Like, they just lost all prio that they had in mid lane.
Yeah, for sure. And now they have to fight to retake that vision, and Miko does not have level 11. This is a pretty important level mark. He's going to actually hit it right beforehand. He does have his R up and the tools. The question is, do they commit the Camille TP to match the Shen for this dragon?
For sure. I mean, Camille's going to push out the wave. If Camille's going to TP, I think she needs to go now because you don't want to be... This is a team comp where you don't want to TP after the fight started because they have so much upfront burst in the Jarvan, in the Azir ult, in the Ezreal poking you down. I think Camille needs to be there to find that pick immediately. And if she's not there, it makes fights a lot harder to play. But it looks like she's just going to keep pressuring side lane. They did see send TP to the bot lane, so she knows nobody can match her getting that tier 2. And it looks like Dognitas are just going to give that dragon and try to pressure for these turrets.
Yeah, I think if they push mid here, there's the chance that they could look to take a tower, maybe get 2. There is no TPs available, so Camille will be able to get that inner tower, just like you said, 700 gold, pretty large swing, and the gold differential is slowly catching up.
Yeah, the teams are pretty even in gold. It's just this Jarvan and this Ezreal are just so strong individually. It's on Dognitas to find these angles to where they can shut down those two players.
Yeah, I mean, look at the gold difference between the carries. It's about 600. Which might seem like like not too much, but if you look at the kills, it's actually a really good job coming from Nico of just getting towers, like getting as much CS as he can and as much gold as he can to really minimize that early lead coming out from Ryan on that Ezreal pick. And I want to give the praise where it's deserved for him. It's not like Ryan's misplayed. It's just Nico doing a very solid job. Meanwhile, never saw. Oh. He does have flash up from Humza. He's going to see the ultimate go in. He will get the Ziggs bomb. He will fall down, but look at the Shen shield. The flash coming out from both of them. Meanwhile, Shen will have enough shield to keep Never Saw alive. Meanwhile, the Nico Ziggs ult. Ooh.
We talked about the Azir Yone matchup, and it is delivering. These two players are constantly playing on a Knife's Edge, sorry. And once again, we see a fight where they both live on, less than 10% HP. It's really fantastic gameplay. I mean, you'd love to see that.
I mean, we can't force him off the tower. And Never Saw I can. And meanwhile, we're going to see Never Saw get engaged. That's going to be the overspeed that comes down. Camille on the top side. We're going to see Brissy, though. He's going to be pretty low. Poke is going to be inside that push onto Proton Plat. Proton Plat cannot re-engage. Meanwhile, we're going to see the Camille ult go down. He's going to see Humza come forward. The Azir tower trying to keep him alive. He will take the additional damage. This will be a pretty big gold swing. The Ignite will tick, but does the shield keep him alive at 1 HP? The ultimate comes down from the Leona, the heal from the Soraka. They're trying to slow. He will get stopped. He will not be able to get over the wall, and that's going to be a gold lead now for Dognitas with Baron on the map.
Dognitas, with their backs against the wall, are able to find the fight. Never Saw stepping up at low HP once again, just a bit of overconfidence, and gets caught out by the Nocturnal. They're just not respecting it. Proton Plat player also just face-checking a bush. Now, I know they didn't see the Camille TP, but she was off map. It's something you need to consider. And he also gets picked for that reason. When you have a shutdown, you have to play a little more careful in that, and he's punished for it appropriately.
Yeah, we're going to see the TP come down for them. They want to secure this Baron. We're going to see Ryan walk forward. Neversaw does have TP, but he does not burn it. The ultimate will connect from Ezreal. Meanwhile, we're going to see Camille go down, and it looks like Soraka is gone instantly. Meanwhile, Ezreal's going to get the kill. He's going to get CC'd up. He's going to flash. Leon will not connect, but it looks like he's going to be too much. They will get the kill onto him. Neversaw, though, will trade 1 for 1, but it looks like there's too low. They cannot look for this Baron, and I think that's a trade that GPR will take.
For sure. Getting them off the Baron is not bad. Now, Ryan did lose both of his summoners on that play, so I'm not sure he's overly happy dying and losing both summoners, but Dognitas didn't get the Baron out of it, so yeah, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, for sure. And Known is just being able to heal off these waves. It's really hard to get him out of this side lane right now because he's just able to have so much innate healing in his kit with that Blade of the Rune King. And we're going to see another tower fall with the Shen putting pressure. But GPR, they got to keep vision on that Baron. They cannot slip up for a moment right now.
For sure. Now, Nocturne does have his ult again. We might see the lights turned out soon, and it's something that GPR need to keep in mind because if they get caught out by a big Nocturne ult again, like you mentioned, it's going to be a Baron. And if Dognitas gets this Baron, I'm not sure how well you can defend. I mean, a Ziggs, a Yone, a Camille, all with Baron buff are very, very dangerous on their own, not to mention all three together on the same team.
Yeah.
It is hard.
Side lane pressure. Meanwhile, Ryan's going to go under. He's going to see the ultimate come down from Leon. He will sidestep. Meanwhile, Ziggs, that's going to be everything burned onto Ryan, and Ryan will not be able to get out without that flash. He cannot escape. Meanwhile, we're transition on the top side. Saw it's going to be 1v1ing. He will fall to Poke as Poke picks up another solo bolo in the top side of the map, and that'll be a mid tower falling. Baron is on the map. Dragon is up in 40 seconds. This could be a tier 2.
Yeah, looks like it. This tower is falling very, very low, and Nico should still have the satchel charge to execute. It's getting lower. Will it get there? Nico actually threw the satchel charge early.
Proton Plateau will get forced out. Meanwhile, we're going to see Zach walk forward. Going to force them away. The flash from Soraka is burned. That's an important summoner loss. Currently a 4K goal lead at 24 minutes.
Yeah, and I do want to call back to that team fight, because that's just been the story of this game so far. Ryan walking up, getting caught out by the Leona, getting caught out by the Nocturne ults, and then forcing his team into a 4v5. And then Camille, we also saw, got the solo kill onto Neversaw under the Azir tower, which is a really, really great pickup there. And honestly, this is like what the... I'll hold that thought as the Dragon Prince is looking to start here.
Meanwhile, we're going to see Poke get them slow. Jason, they're looking to put them on himself on a soul point. The Zigzag is going to come down. It's going to hit only 2 members. Proton Plat is there. He does have the smite. They're going to see the Leona go down on the 2. Meanwhile, they're going to all look. Azir Shuffle hits 4 members, but it's too much. There's too much CC. There's too much damage. Camille with the double. And it looks like Dragon will fall. We're going to see equal number of Dragons. We're 25 minutes in. Baron's on the map. This could be a very, very quick soul, but without a traditional AD carry, without a champion like Jinx, Caitlyn, it's harder for them to take Baron with Ziggs. But Yone and Nocturne should be able to make up for that consistent DPS.
For sure, Yone with that Bork especially, just does so much damage on single targets, and sure they'll be able to knock this out pretty quickly, especially having picked up 4 kills in the back end. Now, you do have to be worried about the Ezreal ult stealing it, but as long as Agent Jason doesn't miss the fight, it should be a pretty safe Baron.
Yeah, we're not going to see even the ult attempt coming out from the Ezreal. We're going to see a pretty large gold deficit develop. It's 7,000. So Juan, what can GPR do to get themselves back in this game? They're down by so much. Almost every single member of their team is now in a deficit.
For sure. I think we just need to... They need to really think about the game as a whole here. And like that last Dragon play was a perfect example of this, right? They went for a Dragon where they knew they were going to have a 5v5 after they lost like the last 2 team fights, right? If you know you're losing team fights, I'm not sure why you would want to go and fight 5v5 again, and as we saw, they got nearly wiped because of it. So I think you just need to farm as safely as you can, try to stall this Baron, and as soon as that's up, you just need to look for side lane pressure and wait for this Camille, for this Yone to overstep, because eventually these players are going to be up, they're going to be by themselves, and you have a Jarvan that can look to try to pick them.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the question does come, though, as we see the 3rd item power spike come out from the Ezreal. He's got the Spear of Explosion now. We're going to see that 3rd item coming out from the Azir within the next 4 to 5 minutes, hopefully, with the CS continuing to go up. Are those item spikes enough, or do they still need those objectives across the map? Oh, meanwhile, we're going to see an ultimate coming down. He's going to go golden. The ultimate catalysm comes down. His poke's going to be stuck underneath. He's going to fall. The Ezreal is going to see some good CC. Never saw. Going to get some much needed healing from the Soraka. They will fall as they're going to push them away. Zach very low here along with Asian Jason. Meanwhile, Yon, though, in the top side of the map. Nico gonna get a massive blast from the W. Gonna see Zach go in, though. This could be an opportunity for Nico to pop off. They will get in near team wipe. Shen and Soraka leave their carries in the bot side of the map to try to defend top, and this might cost them so much.
Yeah, I mean, what a fantastic play from Dognitas there. They know they have Baron. They know they have this. They know that they're trying to look to end the game, or at least get these inhibs pushed in and start that pattern where you can get close to ending the game. And they did a wonderful job of Camille throwing her life away and Noctra throwing his life away to engage in a fight, right? Their lives there do not matter that much. All they need is to drag as many people to that turret as possible. Let your Ziggs dish out damage. As he's hit his 3 items, he does a lot of AoE damage, and they force the Shenar, which allowed Yone to just split push and get a whole inhib entirely on his own with his Baron buff. I just think that's such a heads-up play and just so well done macro-wise.
Yeah, even if they lose that fight bot side, yeah, they lose some gold, they lose that, but the Baron buff on Yon, like you said, the macro play of getting that top inhib is great. But not to mention, what happened even better is they won the fight bot. They were able to get the bot inhib too. They got the tier 2, they got the inhib turret, and they got the inhib. So they're putting a lot of pressure on that Nexus that currently only has one tower to defend it.
Yeah, definitely. It's a rough spot for GPR to be in here. I think their only saving grace is just getting another item onto the Ezreal, getting this third item onto Azir, and hoping that you can just dish out enough damage and live long enough to win these team fights, right? Because that's, at this point, I think that's your only hope.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think Azir really needs that third item power spike if we want to see him do a lot for his team. As this game continues, we're going to see it become more and more difficult for him to stay alive long enough given the raw burst we've seen in this game. Camille is such a threat with those 3 items, with the Sterex up. They can really look the siege, and with a third dragon on the horizon, they're going to really put more pressure on GPR to make plays.
100%. Now we are seeing the GA come in from Asian Jason. We do see the IE coming in for Hamea on the Yone. Camille picks up her Sterex. The Yone also has a shield though. Sorry, that's what the item's called. This is a hard team to cut through. This is a lot of HP,
Oh
a
my
lot
god,
of
we're
damage.
gonna go on to Ryan. Ryan's gonna get out the ultimate comes out. We're gonna see a massive disconnect though. He will fall 1-for-1 for Yon. Meanwhile, Asian Jason, and we're gonna see Loke go down the burst of Soraka. Brissy tries to keep them alive as Proton Plat is down to 1000 HP. He will get CC'd up. They're gonna look to siege that last turret. They're gonna lose their mid laner and support though, but they're doing a lot. Never saw trying to keep this tower alive. He will fall to 1 HP. He will go golden, but it might not be enough as the Q connects. He will have something, but Brissy not able to save him. The Derek stage will be popped for the Camille. She looks to down the enemy top laner, looking for the E. Not going to be able to connect, but they have that last tower, and this game will end with a near 10,000 gold lead for Dognitas. Very, very clean execution. Rough early game, but that mid game turnaround.
100%. I think they just team fought better, and that was the name of the game. They knew exactly what they needed to do. They found fights when they needed to. They forced fights when they needed to, and they did it with confidence. And I think that was the big turning point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we just saw a gold switch both ways. Not only was Dognitas in the driver's seat for a large portion of the game, it swapped back to see GPR. They had the lead. We can see on that timer there, they were ahead for a little bit. We saw a big fight, a good swing, and then GPR rebounded again to build a lead. But that quintessential Dragon into Baron play, that wipe that happened bot side, kind of just snowballed this lead that just became inescapable. At that point, it's just too hard to fight. The numbers are too much, and it takes a lot of mistakes from your opponents and a lot of good plays from yourself to really crawl back.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we saw the early Ezreal Quadra kill, but it looks like, I mean, GPR never even got a gold lead above 2,000 gold. Dognitas kept it close the entire time, and then were finally able to snowball it for themselves. And then I do want to call out the damage stretch real quick. Ziggs putting up a massive 34,000 damage. That is a champion that they did pick on Red 1. They picked it very early in the draft, and it performed. That's just fantastic.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some prioritization go towards that Ziggs. It looks like Dognitas isn't really fearful of Neversaw's Azir. While it did have some good moments there, he was able to be punished. So, how do you think we're going to see this draft change before we go to a break?
I think you 100% need to ban out the Ziggs, right? That cannot get through draft at all. And I do know Agent Jason is a Nocturne player. I'd actually like to see them ban that out as well because a lot of these engages came around the Nocturne ult. So I think shutting that down is the best thing you want to focus on. I think the Yone and the Camille put in work, but there are lane matches you can pick that make those champs harder to play that they struggle more in. I think you really, really want to shut down the playmakers of the team, which were these Ziggs and the Nocturne here.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree. So with that, we are going to head to a short break while we get ready for game number 2, and we'll see you all shortly.
Hello and welcome back to Summit Esports. We have Ganking Private Ryan versus Dognitas. We have the Game 2 draft starting here. It is 1-0 in the favor of Dognitas. We do see the side switching as GPR is on the red side now and Dognitas on blue. And we are getting into the ban phase. Flash, how you feeling about last game?
I'm feeling pretty solid about this series. I think both these teams are able to throw punches and take them. I don't think this is a definitive series over. I just need to see some adjustments come out from GPR if they really want to push this to 4 games at least. And for Dog, they did a really good job coming back from those deficits. And I want to see that consistency continue. And with that, Smolder B1.
Yeah, that is a confident Smolder pick. So the Ziggs got banned away instead of the Smolder, and Dog immediately just picking the Smolder instead. Again, I think this champion is a bit ridiculous, though. I think it's a fantastic pick. It can be played mid, top, or bot, depending on matchup. It's a triple flex. It is so strong. At like 25 minutes, you have Elder buff. I,
Yeah.
I mean, what you can't do any wrong with it. It's just a great pick all around.
No, I completely agree. The thing to wonder though, what champions will they take to counter it? Kog'Maw being another scaling AD carry, I like to see that. It also can be flexed into other roles. I don't think it's very much seen in mid, but we see the Cog Lulu locked in R1, R2.
Cog Lulu, a bot lane of Ancient. I have not seen this played in a long time, so I honestly don't know how strong it is in the current meta. But I do know that it outranges Smolder, right? So if this is Smolder in the bot lane, it can be quite hard for him to trade because not only do you have the Lulu shields to worry about, you're also just outranged, and there's a good chance you get auto spaced the entire game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Kog'Maw is a champion that scales very strong with not only levels and skill points into his W, but with attack speed items. So we're going to see the Braum secure coming in, hoping to get some potential lockdown, some engage onto that Kog'Maw, onto that Lulu. But I think something to consider is less this bot lane matchup, which I think will be kind of pretty even. But how will the jungle and mid matchup continue because they were trading blows pretty heavily, especially in that mid lane.
Yeah, for the mid, I would not be overly surprised if we actually saw a salty run back of the Azir Yone because I think their lane phase, as we saw, was on an edge the entire time, and I'm sure both players feel like they can win that out in this game too.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, we're currently seeing some very strong picks coming out. Looks like the Talia will be picked up. Talia has been a pretty popular counter to Simulder in pro play, or at least I should say an answer. Has the ability to zone him from just going in, and also has a lot of displacement, right? That boulder that push away the wall, that separate teammates while Smolder can fly over terrain. It does kind of force him to use a key ability that's got a pretty long cooldown until later in the game and makes him a target for the rest of her team.
For sure. I do also want to call out Talia. I mean, her passive obviously lets her move around the map so quickly, and then her R also just gives her a lot of movement, which means she should be able to cover for this Cog Lulu that you're drafting around. Because the Cog Lulu are 100% your win condition, right? You live or die by the spot lane. So I think Talia is
Oh
a
yeah.
really, really good pick because she can, if she's not already hovering bot, she can get there ASAP. AP and help them out whenever they need it.
What do you think the top lane situation for Dog is? Because they clearly took the Camille, they were able to run away, even with the deficit, to have some pretty impactful plays. Do you think we see a more aggressive top lane pick, with the expectation that Brissy will be on a more safe top pick himself, or do we kind of see the tank option, protect the Smolder, give some more peel, allow your mid laner to play something a little more on the aggressive side?
For sure. With the Gwen ban coming in, I would not be surprised if we see something tankier, right? Because she does do very well into any and all tanks. So we could see something like the Cassante, obviously a very popular just all around pick if you can play it. I think Mundo is still very, very strong, like deceptively so, actually. He's just a complete beast in the top lane. You rush Warmogs and then you're so hard to kill. But Loco Poco on Dog did also, I think, get the better of Brizzy in that top lane 1v1. And so if he's confident, especially with his Cassante being picked up, there are a lot of champs that do well into it. You know, if you're a good Fiora player, Fiora can do extremely well. We could even see the Smolder top be flexed because I know for a fact Smolder top kind of dog walks, pun intended, Cassante.
Yeah. I mean, I think something to consider though is Smolder getting displaced by the Cassante ult. That can be pretty devastating. It separates him from his team in an ability that he can't dodge, he can't escape. It is a point and click ability that can put him over Talia walls. It can put him away in a situation where he has no options. He is just going to have to cast R and pray to God that maybe he can flash away and get enough healing to not die instantly. So I like the Cassante as a top lane option. I know Malphite isn't really something that Brissy has seen a lot. Also, there's a lot of counter options to it. But looking at that Corki Aurora, it's a aggressive triple of like aggressive laners for the most part, with Smolder being that hyper scaling option late game. Oh my god, is that a Katarina hover?
Katarina is still pretty strong this patch. Now she did get knocked down a peg. I don't know if you remember two patch or I guess a patch ago with the area build as the we're swapping back to the Zed hover. Very aggressive mid lane champions being hovered here by GPR. Uh, I'm really, really interested to see where they go with this.
Oh, the
Nasus
Nasus.
mid.
I do want to comment really quick. Nasus has seen a lot of play, not only in pro, but he has play in solo queue because healing is just ridiculous. Like he has 20, I think about 22% healing in his kit around level 14, just base healing, and with Trinity Force and some other tank items, he becomes very difficult to kill and has become kind of a threat within the top lane, but also seeing play even in mid.
Yeah, I mean his Wither is just such a strong spell into the Zinzao, into the Corki. These double AD laners, or this double AD mid jungle will have a hard time killing
Even the
him ever.
Smolder.
Yeah, and the Smolder as well, exactly. And Nasus also has deceptively safe laning. When he goes that Doran's Ring airy Scorch build,
Yeah.
he bullies a lot of people with that base damage. It is getting nerfed, or I believe it did get nerfed. Uh, but it still does quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, it can be pretty hard to deal with, especially with the changes that have been made to sustain. We commented on it before. Yon was pretty in a pretty rough situation until he got that Omni Vamp item in that Blade of the Rune King. Without that, he wasn't really in a comfortable situation to sustain the Azir poke early, and he needed to pop not only all of his potions, he needed a lot of help from his team to catch those waves, to put pressure on the Azir to not harass him too much. So Nasus is going to give him another side laning champion that can just not only take towers so quickly, but is super dangerous for champions like Smolder and Corki who walk up because they kind of have to use their mobility spell to get away. And Smolder's is one that just enhances his move speed. It doesn't. It's not a dash.
Yeah, I completely agree. I also want to mention that Xin Zhao's knockup is hard gated by him hitting three autos in a
Oh,
row. So if you're withered, it's hard for him to get his only CC option off, especially on a champion that has to go
yeah.
in. I think the early game is going to be the tipping point, right? Because Xin Zhao's a champion that wants to invade the Talia, wants to be very aggressive. And I think we're going to see a lot of jungle v jungle gameplay rather than ganking because he has these lanes that can and hopefully get prio early to enable him.
Yeah, I do wonder though about that this mid matchup. Is it gonna be Aurora Nasus or Corki Nasus? because I think that Nasus is going mid, and with that, Corki, I think, is going to suffer a lot worse in terms of trading, but has way better wave pushing potential than Aurora. So, what do you want to take? Do you want to take that Corki mid, have that ability to counter push the Nasus, make sure you keep prio so you can help your jungler? Or do you take the champion that's going to have better sustain options and is going to be better at trading into the sustain tank because Aurora's max HP damage?
Yeah, I mean, Aurora has been nerfed quite a few times. She's been knocked down a couple pegs. Her percent damage isn't as much as it was. Her move speed's not as much as it was. I, her wave clear is not great. Like, it's great that she can double tap Q now, but she is significantly weaker, and I think she's more of an alt bot champion made for these team fights rather than
Yeah.
a strong laner. So I think it's honestly up to player preference, right? I think they'll decide who they want to play against, and you'll hash it out that way. But
No,
I
it's I,
sorry.
well, uh, okay. With this, we're gonna go to a quick break. We're gonna be with you guys in a minute in this game too. Currently, Dognitas leads 1-0 into GPR. GPR did select red side this game, and we might see them put on the back foot once again in that 2-0 deficit, or will they be able to tie us up and force at least 4 games? Hello everybody, my name is Flash9. I am joined by Juan for Game 2 of the Summit Semifinals between Dognitas and GPR, Ganking Private Ryan. And we're going to see Dognitas lead us 1-0, and we're going to get right into game number 2. Currently we saw a pretty heated matchup between the Ziggs and the Azir from Neversaw, but we're going to see a little bit of a switch. Going to see the Nasus mid, something I don't think we've seen in Summit yet.
Yeah, I mean, as we were talking about, just such a pivotal champion. Really, really good into the quirky. A champion that I haven't seen Hamia play yet. I did cast their last series, so I'm curious to see how this goes, as he's traditionally more of a melee mid player. And then we are seeing the we're seeing the Aurora top lane into the Cassante. Now, we have talked about it earlier. She did go fleet after it got nerfed, which is surprising. I would have preferred to see the electrocute or the comet come out, because I think those runes do a lot better when you're just trying to poke and win this lane early into the Cassante champion. So we're gonna have to see if Loco Poco is able to transition his extra sustain into a lane advantage.
Yeah, for sure. I think something that I want to see though is, will Ryan take advantage of this champion? Because we currently are seeing Proton Plat on the AD carry. Proton has played ADC before. We know he can do it. Ryan, this is a signature champion for him. For some who haven't seen Ryan play jungle, Ryan is very good at playing these AP powered jungle carries. The Brand, the Talia, the Lilia. So seeing him on this gives me a lot of confidence for GPR going into this game too. And also, they want to switch it up. They want to try and figure out what works.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, game ones are always about figuring it out, and not just what's working for your team, it's working for the enemy team and how to counter that. And if that's putting Proton Plat player on ADC, that might be the solution. So taking game one as a trial and switching up game two, I think, is a fantastic way to view the game, and something just a productive way to approach the series.
Yeah. Also, the mid situation, the mid-top situation for GPR is looking kind of rough. We're seeing both of the laners get shoved in, already pretty low. We're seeing the potential potion CS differences already appearing to be pretty large. Neversaw though on the Nasus has a lot more sustain than Cassante for Prissy, but the goal though is to get as much gold as possible given the tough environment.
100%. I do want to call out that Neversaw did start Q trying to get that ward that Hamia placed on the enemy Raptors. And because of that greedy start, Neversaw didn't get the ward and also didn't have E start to poke Hamia down, so Neversaw definitely getting punished for that ability to start here with about half of their HP bar.
Yeah, he's going for the traditional rune choices, I will say, on the Nasus. One, he's going to go for the Ghost, he's going to go for the Phase Rush to be able to run people down with the difference from Wither. But the question is how many points is he putting into Wither early? A lot of times we'll see Nasus put in eases. Never mind, we're going to see Low Poke just get chunked out. He's going to burn the flash. Ryan there, going to see the flash come out from Brizzy. He's going to fall down to 100 HP. He's just going to be able to... he will get both of them, but the sidestep Ryan, forcing him to take damage from one champ or the other, putting a first blood and redeeming the pushing coming out from Poke. Flash for flash on top. And excellent job from Brizzy. I mean, he's able to keep the wave, make his jungler have an opportunity to gank, and that's going to be first blood.
100%. I do want to call out that was some really good pathing from Ryan as well. He skipped his Raptors and his red buff, went straight to the Krugs because he saw that there was a gank opportunity in the top lane, paid attention to wave states. Now whether they communicated that or Ryan saw that on his own, we'll never know, but regardless, that's just fantastic team play, and they get rewarded for it. Loco Poco was very far up without mana, didn't really worry about the jungler, and didn't flash the Cassante W, which led to him getting flashed on a Nocta, or well, queued and slowed later into that fight. So just really, really well played all around from GPR.
We're going to see a very, very low. He loses the cannon because he's so low. A single E cast will currently kill him. And I think Neversaw did put 2, if not 3 points into his E here. But without flash, it looks like Corki does not have to worry about it, just a flash cast and just dying suddenly. He can space. He does have enough mana to cast that W to get himself the necessary distance away.
Ami is staying here. Very dangerous, as Neversaw does have biscuits and a potion still.
Yeah, that is true. Oh, he will cast it again.
It's so insane the poke that Nasus has, right? Because he didn't even go the area build. He went the extremely safe phase rush build. As we see, Plat player gets stunned up there by the Braum. Braum passive, just an absurd ability. I think it's so strong, a massive part of his kit.
Also,
But
the auto reset, right? Smolder can cast the Q, get the auto reset to get that stun up a little faster.
yeah, I mean, especially combined with the slow that the Braum Q has. If you do hit it, I believe it's what, like a 60% slow maybe. But
Yeah,
regardless, it's you're almost guaranteed to get that full Braum passive proc with just the Smolder.
yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, currently we're seeing Poke trying to recover a bit. Asian Jason's showing up in the mid lane, helping Corki get this wave in, but that's going to put them at a tempo deficit. In doing so, we're going to see him get chunked out. Ryan's going to show up. He could just look to fight this. He will get the E-cast. He will get some good damage. Looking to get onto his Krugs, though, will take the stun. Ryan could harass this, and with Corki with no mana, this could be quite dangerous.
Looks like Ryan's just going to back away. He did get a control ward down in the brush by the red buff there. And I don't believe anybody on Dognitas knows that happens, as Ryan is ganking bot lane
Ryan
here.
shows up. No connection. We're going to see the W cast coming forward, Voller. Not able to find anything. The ward will be cleared, and Proton Plat just doesn't have enough mana to really be too much of a threat here, and this just makes it really hard for Ryan to look for a fight.
For sure. I do like this proactive jungling from Ryan. Even if these plays aren't forcing flashes, even if he's not getting a lot of damage off or anything, it's good that he's there and he's pressuring these lanes, right? He's making sure he's making sure that everyone is aware of his presence, and he's really asserting himself in this jungle role. Because when you know the jungler's near you, can't play anywhere near as aggressive as you would like to.
Yeah, for sure. Something I also want to note really quick is Nico took the teleport, right? That gives him that tempo advantage, but Proton Plat player just got his first base off. He's only down by about a wave, and if you think about it, he's in a much better position entering for this dragon fight. He might be down by a little bit of gold, but with the combat sum up and hitting level 6 soon, they could look for a 2v2.
100%. I mean, that's the strength of this barrier, right? It's such a low cooldown, it's such a big shield. It allows you to force these fights, especially into Smolder, who is such a weak champion early. Like, obviously, Braum passive is very strong. Braum is stronger early game champion, but I don't think that makes up for the weakness of Smolder compared to Kog'Maw.
Yeah, I completely agree. The question, though, is can they look to get the punish angles? The goal differential is just enough to be first blood. It's like 300 to 400. That's that kill difference across the board. And with both of these mid laners playing these push champions, kind of we talked about briefly in draft, it looks like they're not going to be able to do anything about that.
Yeah, I mean, we see Asian Jason picking up the grubs here, as Ryan is going to be trading that out for a dragon. I'm not sure that I'm a huge fan of taking the grubs this early, because I don't think they have any laners that can really make use of that besides the Corki. You know what I mean? I don't think they have anyone that's really side laning and pressuring for these towers. So I'm surprised we don't see more priority put towards the dragon by Dognitas here.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think Corki's having a hard time sustaining the wave pressure from Neversaw just because he needs to spend so much more auto attacks and abilities to match the Nasus E. The Nasus E is just chunking. Not only him, it's just able to hit both the wave and him. And meanwhile, we're going to see Brissy go for an ult engage. He's going to go on top of him. Looks like Loke, though, is going to have the ability to get away. He has the ultimate. Brissy, though, looking pretty low. Asian Jason will cast the ultimate. He will flash, though. Brissy able to get back to his tower. Goes for an aggressive play. Will get punished for it, but he's trying to get some sort of lead. He could get dove here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a dangerous position for Cassandra to be in, but honestly, I don't think it's very easy to dive him with his W, with his E. He is still very tanky, and it's very possible for the Xin Zhao and the Aurora to mess that up.
Ooh, Asian Jason does get the confirm onto the big Krugs where a lot of the gold is, but doesn't get the rest of them. Meanwhile, Nico getting some good poke, trying to get as many stacks. He does have the AoE, I believe he does have that 25 stack mark. Goes for the boots, goes for the tier, trying to just play for stacks, play to get to that Elder Dragon passive as fast as he can.
For sure. Speaking of which, is it possible for us to get a stack check on the Smolder real quick? He is at 63 stacks so far, which is a little slower than normal, but especially when Smolder hits that 125, it speeds up quite a bit as he's able to push out waves a lot faster and just get more stacks from the extra balls that his keep will start putting out.
Yeah, for sure. I think something to consider though is the delayed item spike. You see his build. He goes for the boost early. He goes for the tier. This is gonna put him at a pretty big time deficit when it looks to get that first item. So he's gonna probably finish his first item closer to that 16-minute mark, and Kog'Maw will already have that first item for this next dragon that's gonna be spawning in 3 minutes, unless they're able to force some bad recalls. And oh, looks like Neversaw throwing down his abilities onto those chickens, taking some gold from Ace and Jason.
Yeah, I never saw. I mean, just full HP every single time the camera's panned to him. This Nasus pick proving to be good so far. A really good draft. I do also want to ask. I believe for a Proton Plat player, is that the static Shiv build path?
I believe so. I think you're completely right on that. Oh, it could be Kraken as well. We're saying the ultimate come down from Smolder as they look to push in. Agent Jason is here, but Ryan is also here at level 6. He will hit level 7. They do have 3 members of their team here. They do have no TPs available outside of the Cassante, and Cassante is not super available to TP into that bot side. But looks like Neversaw. God, this guy just does not lose HP.
No, the Nasus champion just doesn't take damage and doesn't lose HP, it seems. Now, Neversaw is very low on mana, but is just constantly getting mid-prio over a Corki even. And like you talked about, these Fleet Bulwark nerfs are really coming into effect. Normally, a Corki would be much higher HP, would able to be bullying a lot harder, and right now he's getting shoved in.
Yeah. Could we get a are you able to check how much healing the footwork has done? Or is that only a post-game thing? Because I'm very curious to see, because the changes were pretty so I'm kind of curious. Normally I would say around 10 minutes it's around like 7 to 800 healing, but it got cut down from like that 13 HP to like 5. It's really low.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did just get confirmed it's at 450 healing, so about 300 lower than your estimation. So definitely a hardy nerf, as Kog'Maw did finish up the static Shiv there. And like you talked about, I mean, obviously the Smolder has a BF sword, but when you have these Lucidity boots, this tier, Kog'Maw's just going to start shoving into you, and you're just going to get poked out by the static Shiv passive alone. Really, really hard to deal with that wave.
Yeah. First items being available now. This is going to be a really important dragon, because if Dognitas isn't able to get a single dragon, they don't get that additional scaling time, right? One, they're not able to force a later Elder, get Smolder more time. So we're actually going to be seeing a pretty nasty potential from Kog'Maw to just kind of take advantage of this lane, which is pretty uncharacteristic of that champion, to just kind of like take control of the bot lane early.
For sure. I think they're playing it extremely well. I mean, even in the 1v1 now, they played pretty safe when it was just the Lulu versus the Braum down there and the 2v2. But even now with the static Shiv completed, Kog'Maw is still just shoving in and bullying the Smolder really, really hard. And it is much, much harder to get your stacks, to get those Q confirms when those minions are under tower taking shots the entire time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Smolder, he's just forced to use his W. We're going to see when it's kind of like Ryan is going to get engaged. The solo bolo coming out from H. Jason, he's going to be able to capture him on the side. Looking like NASA's going to push this in. This is not where you want. They have no jungler for this dragon. Looks like Neversaw, though. Gonna pop his ultimate. Gonna look for the engage. He knows Xin Zhao does not have the R. He has no way of getting away. He casts down. He's going to have everything he needs to. Gets the kill. Continues the run down with the Wither. Gets the autos. The empowered Qs. Has the stacks. Going to enter tower as late as possible. Gets another kill with the double. And is able to walk away. Scott free. Braum on Zac trying to show up here. Meanwhile, we're going to see Lulu. But the healing. What is this champ?
I mean, and he lives. Like, can you believe that? Nasus took a 1v2, pressed Wither, pressed Ghost, pressed R, and came out on top. And not just on top of 2 dead bodies. Really just insane that he's able to walk up, kill everyone, and have the confidence to do that.
It's just ridiculous. Like, it should not be able to happen given his champion. But Corki, not at enough HP, doesn't have the resources. Even though with Flash, he's just not able to get away from Neversaw. He had to flash earlier. He had to force Neversaw to come under tower to do more damage before. And even just one tower shot would have made that a 2-for-1, which is still pretty unfortunate for their team, but would be a lot better of a situation. And now they have 2 dragons. They have a gold lead in their mid lane. This game is not looking too well for Dognitas.
Yeah, I mean, again, we've been talking about it, but never saw, on top of getting the double kill there, didn't make up for Ryan getting caught out and actually was able to secure his team, the Dragon. Just a
Yeah.
fantastic turnaround on what, by all means, should have been a second Dragon going towards the side of Dognitas.
Ooh, I don't know if you saw that one. Did you see Kog'Maw just picked up the blue buff, which is going to allow him to just spam his R and just
Look for everything. Meanwhile, the top lane, we see Asian Jason going to go in. They're going to cast the R from both of them. Meanwhile, he's going to see the knockups. He's going to flash away, but the second cast from Q from Poke will secure the kill. The flash coming out from Brisky, though, will not be enough. Meanwhile, never saw just able to walk under tower and click Q. What is this champ?
Unbelievable. And obviously, Brizzy doing what he can on the Cassandra there. Does die, but I don't really think it matters that much. Yes, Rift Herald's up, and it does give your team prio to do that. But if you're a Cassandra here, do you really care if you die when your Nasus and your Kog'Maw are doing as well as they are? Right, like, you are still going to be a menace in team fights. Like, one dive is not that big of a deal, and I think time could be better spent anywhere else.
Oh, for sure. Look at the gold difference. Yeah, it's 1,000 gold difference in top lane, but through jungle, it's basically nothing. Bot lane is basically even. It's just the mid lane Nasus off that double kill. Meanwhile, Proton Cloudbear is going to get engaged by Zag. He's going to see the ultimate come down. He will get the block, though. We'll see him get very low. He pops everything. Lulu's going to get the ultimate. He'll get the flash. He'll get the engage. He'll take tower showers. That will get him finished, though. Meanwhile, it's going to be a 1-for-1. He has no sums. The ultimate will not be enough to secure the passive onto Nico. Nico is going to be able to pick up the kill there, which is pretty good for him, but 1-for-1. It's a lot of resources, a lot of time. They're going to give up a Herald for this.
Yeah, 1-for-1 is just still not ideal. And that's been the story of the game so far. Dognitas has been making good plays, but GPR has been, I think, countering it pretty well and coming out at very worst even in most of these plays around the map. And when you have the Nasus on your team, that's exactly what you want, right? You have a taking time bomb of a game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look at Neversoft. He's going to take a tower shot. Even though the Q is missed, Asian Jason will just not be able to connect on the follow-up. And if Corki uses his W, that disengage tool, he can really get away, but that's it. It's one option. It's about a 10-second cooldown. Like, Wither has a shorter cooldown than that ability. We're going to see Cassante look to dive this tower topside. They're looking for this first tower. Zach shows up and is just not able to give enough support. Oh,
As Neversaw running in here, does pop the ghost.
He just runs away. This guy just like does not care.
Didn't pop the ghost. My mistake. He just had a million move speed from the cinders on the ground.
Oh, meanwhile, we're gonna see Eco able to help his team get a kill. We're gonna see 1-for-1. Meanwhile, they're gonna try to dive him under tower. He will see the flash from Flash. The 1-for-1. The slow's coming out. It looks like Asian Dacian might not end up. He's gonna fall. The tower picks up. It's gonna be a 2-for-1. They commit a lot of resources to take out Proton Plat player on this Kog'Maw, but at what cost? Again, we're putting all these resources into helping Smolder be able to sustain, to like punish the Kog'Maw for shoving these lanes, but how much is too much? You currently have a top laner who's just barely ahead in terms of CS. He does have the tower advantage, I know. He does have the plates, but what about your mid laner? It's not looking too good for him. And Corki is not the champion he used to be. He's not a poke mage. He doesn't have package. So, Juan, what can Dog do to kind of change the tempo of this game? They are down in a lot of objectives.
Yeah, I completely agree. And now with the next dragon spawning in about a minute, that's a perfect time to ask that, because I think if you're Dog here, you need to get this dragon at all costs, right? Because you have a dragon on your team, and you need to buy him as much time as possible, and a dragon gives you another 5 minutes. So I think I want to see them, especially because it's going to be soul point towards GPR if they do get it. You just need to play towards his bot side as Ryan gets caught out here.
Engaged. We'll push him away. The ultimate comes down from Smolder. The flash comes out to disengage. We're going to see Poke go for something, though. Poke has the ultimate. He will not be able to connect. He gets some good damage, though. Poke's going to cast the ultimate onto Ryan. Ryan's going to get the Lulu's ultimate to save him. Ryan. Proton Plat's going to look for Nussel. They're going to get secure the kill on the Poke. This is looking devastating. Meanwhile, Neversaw shows up, and he's going to look at Asian Jason getting the ultimate. Brisky going to stay alive a little longer. The knockouts coming 1-for-1. Asian Jason will fall. The junglers are no longer in the fight. Looks like we're going to see them run down Nico. He's trying to get the movement speed to walk away. Neversaw just chasing him down. Meanwhile, Corki has to burn the flash. He's 1 HP. The red buff will tick, and he's going to be able to get alive. Just 1 HP. And Ryan shows up. This dragon fight, like you said, Juan. Oh no.
Yeah, oh no, indeed, Flash. This is a dangerous, dangerous situation to be in. NASA's already level 14. Unbelievable that he's this high of a level, 184 CS in 19 minutes. Nasus is looking a bit unkillable. And Flash, I do want to ask real quick, with the steel caps, with the Frozen Heart coming in second here, who on Dog can actually kill this Nasus?
I think you have to wait for Smolder, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think with the true damage, that's your only hope, because this version of Aurora, this current version, is more of a burst mage, right? She pops ult, she hits you with everything, and yes, she has Leandries, yes, she has a little bit of percent health damage in her passive burn, but she does not have low enough cooldowns to really burn through a tank, and it's looking dangerous.
Oh, for sure. And Nasus is going to look to base. He hasn't even based yet. He's just
Hobby
going to be
cut out
running
here.
forward.
Wither.
Oh, no. Oh, no. They're going to see the engage onto him. He tries to hold the W too long. It's going to be another kill for Nasus.
Believe it or not, Hami had actually already W'd. He W'd as soon as he saw them on a ward.
No.
As soon as he pushed that wave, he W'd away, and they still caught up to him in time. I believe it was partially due to those cinders around the map, which let Nasus get there so quickly, as Agent Jason does have to pop the ult.
Oh. Pops the ult, but Brissy is here. Brissy can look for an angle. They don't. They have the Nasus on a flank. Brissy's just gonna walk into them, look away. Baron is up. Can they go for this one? Can they look to Baron with Corki off the map?
I mean, I think if you're GPR, you just send 4 people to Baron and you just let Nasus push bot lane, right? Because if the enemy team stops you from Baroning, Nasus takes an entire 700 gold turret by himself. And if they match the Nasus, you get a free Baron. It's a lose-lose scenario.
Oh no, this TP barely comes through. And he just has to W away instantly again. He doesn't have the ghost though, meanwhile Neversaw will be stuck inside. Ryan, 1 HP, he will fall. We're gonna see everyone collapse into Neversaw. It's a 5v1, and he will end up falling. A massive shutdown picked up from Smolder, much needed for Nico. Nico is gonna be back in this game, but it's gonna see picked up mid waves. That tower will die. And if we think about the gold transfer from picking up the tier 2, it makes the bounty almost null.
100%, but that's exactly where you want the gold. I mean, this gold is... Smolder obviously not a great champ with gold. Scales much harder with stacks than anything else. But if you have to pick anybody, you need it on that Smolder. You need him to get
oh my god, we're
at
gonna
a
see
point.
Zach taken away. Oh, this is pretty devastating. Zach blocking a ton of damage from the Cog Lulu, but they forced them off 3v5. They forced them off Baron.
Yeah, it just looked like an unconfident Baron there from Dog. They went to it, and it seemed like they just didn't have a plan for how they were going to deal with the enemy team poking them off, and they just run away 5v3, just like you said. Like, the Cassante popped ult immediately. He's pretty squishy in ults. He loses a lot of his stats. He used a second W right away. I'm really surprised they didn't chase or try to, like, burn any HP or anything there. It seemed like a bit of a
Ryan is on a ward here. The autos will come through. He might be stuck. He has no way to get out. The stun will secure. That will be a kill, but they take the mid tower. In exchange, he had no idea he was sitting on a ward. Meanwhile, Brissy, though, we're going to see Loke, though. Loke might not be able to get out. He gets out. Just barely burns the TP to exchange. But meanwhile, we're going to see Brissy go down. He's going to be fighting Asian Nation. He's going to see the ultimate come down from the Braum. They're going to engage right onto the enemy Lulu. It's going to be 80 carry versus carry. Who can carry harder as Proton Plat is going to look to run away. Brissy, though, has the knockup, has the ability for some escape. He's just going to keep walking. Proton Plat, though, getting some good chunk damage in return. Nico has the ability to do a lot in that fight, but he just has to be so careful to walk up that he just can't. He's not able to get as much DPS out.
For sure. And, I mean, somebody post a Cassante copy pasta for real. Like, that champion in full tank mode is Loco Poco in trouble here.
Oh,
Neversaw just going to walk away after getting another tier 2.
Never mind, he just gains up 200 HP off his queuing.
Yeah, I never saw stacking the turret, another plus 12.
Oh my god.
This is the issue with this Nasus champion. And honestly, I did want to call out these last 2 fights that we've seen. The Braum passive did a lot of work into the Nasus. Getting stunned up by that was huge. If I'm Neversaw here, I think you switch your boots to Merc Treads just for that tenacity. Maybe pick up like a Sterix Gauge, because he already has so much armor in the Frozen Heart, so much armor from his, just base champion, so much armor from pressing the R button. I think at this point you just need to not get CC'd.
Yeah, for sure, but with the soul point, I think he wants as much gold to finish that third item. So it could be a switch we see later, but with the third dragon, I believe Nico does not have the Elder Dragon engage yet. But currently Neversaw, he's level 15. Oh, he does have...
We do have the Elder on Smolder here, so this is Nico's fight, right? This is what you pick the Smolder for. They picked it on Blue 1. This is the fight where it has to matter, as we see Never
Oh, we're gonna
come
see
down.
Asian Jason go in. He'll get separated. It's gonna see the ultimate come down. Two of them are on the backside. Ryan's gonna flash over the wall. They're gonna see Brissy though. He picks up one. He gets another Asian. Jason is just gonna be pushed away from his team. Meanwhile, Neversaw is just gonna be kiting across the map. He's so fast. And it doesn't matter. Nico is trying to do something, but he can only cast his E and kite away. Oh, looks like Lokepoke is gonna try to go for something here. They're gonna turn onto Asian. Never mind. Brissy though, he's quite low. He's 1 HP. He might fall. He's gonna tick down. He's gonna see another kill secured though. That's gonna be the Elder on the map on the next dragon, but it doesn't matter. Smolder at 1 HP is gonna get a one bonk, and Susan looks to bonk again, and that's gonna be a double for Neversaw, picking up another kill. 5-1 to push out this bot side, and oh my god, look at this fight, Juan.
Yeah, I mean, it's so unbelievable as we have a replay here. We see Cassante in this backline creating so much space for Kog'Maw and Nasus to just run in and hit people. Brizzy really, I mean, shepherding them like dogs, or like sheep. The Cassante champion is so crazy. And then the whole team just turns onto the dragon here as I'm black screen. Oh, there's just a transition, sorry. Neversaw taking a tier 3 in the base. But like everyone at GPR knows exactly how they want to play these fights. They drafted around this Kog'Maw, they drafted double frontline, and that's exactly what they're doing. Their frontline's going in, doing a ton of damage, to be fair. The Nasus and Cassante champions are just completely absurd. Especially with this Infernal Soul. And Kog'Maw the whole time, kind of an unsung hero, right-clicking on people, and just dishing out nearly infinite damage.
Yeah, I mean, he has the Bork, right? He has Static Shiv. And he's just going to be looking to build. I think that's Gwinsu's. I think that's the start of Gwinsu's. The pickaxe, the recurve bow.
Yeah, I believe that is
Gwinsu's.
Gwinsu's.
That up. And he's just going to get more and more attack speed and looking just to take advantage. And Jason's smiting away the blue buff for his team, but Baron is on the map. What needs to happen for Dog to just slow down this game, get some tempo at the same time? Maybe what is GPR looking to do here?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm GPR, my Nasus just hit 16. Nasus, very, very strong. 3 items, level 16. Arguably, I think the strongest point that Nasus will be in the game, as he does start to fall off a little bit once we get into hyper late game scenarios, especially as the Smolder scales up. If I'm GPR, I'm looking to force, pressure side lanes, and just find a fight where you can, as Hamia possibly in trouble here. And then if I'm Dog, I mean, I think it's just a game of vision control, and let your Smolder get to 16, get to 3-4 items, and play for a big team fight, because a team fight, I think, is the only area where Nasus can ever die.
Yep, we're going to see the recall coming out. They try to collapse on him. And with the bot inhib exposed, who should GPR be sending in this bot lane? How should they be pushing their lanes? How should they be looking to transition to force that Baron?
Realistically, I think you just have to have either Locopoco or Nico on Nasus duty the entire game. Locopoco, I mean, Aurora, Champion with clear as we're getting engaged on here.
Push them away into tower. Zach will fall. Meanwhile, they're going to look to catch Asian Jason. The flash coming forward from Brissy. They're going to see a lot go down. You're just going to take the ward, though. They're going to push all of the remaining members of Dog towards their towers, as Neversaw just pushing waves after waves with that E.
Yep, and all 4 members of GPR walking to the Baron here while Nasus just sits mid. There's not a lot you can do if you're a Dog here. I mean, it's going to be Baron and to force a fight. If you see a quick replay, a fantastic flank by Ryan and Brizzy. Ryan hits the knock up onto the rocks and just picks up 2 quick kills, and Brizzy forcing the flash out of the Asian Beast as well.
Neversaw getting another kill by himself. The aura from Ryan will separate them. It's going to push them away. He's going to pick up another kill just alone. Smolder will die. Meanwhile, he's going to be level 15 on that Corki. Corki is just so far behind in terms of raw gold value. And with the Baron buff, they siege the mid lane tier 2, turn their eyes towards the inhibitor. And this could be game with a near 10,000 gold lead as GPR look to turn this around, but it's not over yet.
Yeah, with the Baron buff here, they can look to end as Locopoco in trouble. Just Ryan misflicks.
That's going to be everything. That's going to be all of the members as Corki so far away. He's not able to engage. He can't do anything. Neversaw just sitting there, going to get the R, going to get that HP back, hitting him once, hitting him twice, and the Nexus will fall with a 10,000 gold lead. Holy. Oh, that is going to push us to a 1-1 situation. GPR coming back from that deficit, coming back from that game 1 loss that looks pretty rough, and if we can just see the damage coming out from their distributions, they got all the dragons, they got those grubs, they got the elder.
They are looking so strong. Look at that gold graph. Holy, that's a mountain.
Yep, I mean, they took control of the game right around that 18-minute mark, and they just never let it go after that. And just like I was
Oh,
talking about, you can see Kog'Maw there topping the damage charts. We talked so much about the Talia, about the Nasus, but Kog'Maw was just dumping damage that entire time, and honestly was never in threat of dying. I can't think of a single fight where he got below like half even.
yeah. You're totally right, Juan. I mean, there was a few times in lane where he in the 2v2, the 2v3 where he ended up falling, but in that mid to late game, he was just he could never be the focus. The front line was just putting too much pressure from the Talia, from the Cassante and Nasus that you could just never get the Kog'Maw. You could just never happen. And it resulted in such a strong performance. And not only was he able to get off damage, he was able to stay alive and just keep auto attacking that spacing. So well done.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that was a really good comeback from GPR. It shows that they didn't lose their mental in game one, and they came out with a dominant game two performance. I mean, I think they had control basically the entire game. They knew their win cons, they drafted around it, they played for it, getting those dragons, and they were rewarded with a game win. I think they played that just so incredibly well from a player standpoint, from a macro standpoint. That was about as close to a masterclass as we're gonna get.
Yeah, for sure. And with that, we will be going to game three. The current score is Dognitas 1, Ganking Private Ryan 1. We will let you guys know what the side selection will be. But with that, we definitely got a series. Holy one, we got a series on our hands.
We do indeed, Flash. I cannot wait to see game three. Hello and welcome back to Summit Esports. We have Ganking Private Ryan versus Dognitas. We have the draft for game three here. It is a tied up 1-1 series with GPR coming off of a massive game 2 focused around the Kog'Maw and the Nasus. And Flash, I am so excited to see the draft of game 3 here.
Ooh, I want to see what they cook up, dude. It's been some interesting picks. We got to see the Talia from Ryan, a signature champion from him. Proton swap to 80 carry in this game too. We saw Nasus mid come out from GPR. Meanwhile, Dog pulled out the Aurora in the top side. So I mean, just such a spicy draft, and I really want to see how they continue with that. With the Talia ban just boom coming out.
Yeah, off the bat, they are shutting that down. They're banning out the Poppy as well. The Ziggs banned again makes sense, and Asian Jason's signature Nocturne getting banned out. And then Dog banning the Smolder, very worried about GPR first picking it. And then I
Yeah,
do
they
want
were
to call out,
talking.
what do you think Dog needs to do here to bounce back from such a harsh loss, especially in a semifinal series? If they lose this, they're down to the loser finals. They can only finish at the highest in third place.
Yeah, I think the thing to note here is picking champions for your top laner that can really take advantage of goal leads. Not only do they scale, but they can punish. Brissy has been doing a great job of keeping the deficit within usable error for his team, like a usable margin. Like his team's like, yeah, we know the top laner is going to be stronger than you, but as long as you don't let them get too far away and you create gank opportunities, you're doing great. I want Poke to really think about how can he just create a deficit for Brissy without giving gold to the team and create a champion that works with his team, that just becomes a very strong asset, like that Camille in game 1?
For sure. And I do want to call out GPR blue one Yumi Flash.
Oh, oh,
They picked Yumi blue one. Um I think that's a little bit disrespectful. Yumi
oh,
Ivor, this is a lot of shields.
okay, okay. We're gonna
Okay,
see a lot of shielding coming out with the
and
Yasuo pick too.
Yasuo, okay. Okay, so if you're Jarvan here, surely you go Serpent's Fang, right? This is the most Serpent's Fang game of all time.
Yeah, of course. The thing to note is Yasuo is a very strong counterpick into Misfortune, right? That win wall just really takes away the power of her R in a lot of these team fights. We're going to see the Camille hover coming out for Pop again. And looking at their team, that's their AD. They're putting Neversaw in a rough position. I think that's Yasuo mid. I want to say that's Yasuo mid. I think Yasuo Yumi is pretty rough to deal with bot side, but you never know.
Yeah, I'm surprised we actually didn't see a support counter pick come out on 3, especially with the Yumi shown so early, because now GPR has the ability to ban out some of Yumi's harder matchups, like the Blitzcrank, the Nautilus, like any of these hook supports. Not like Leona's harder, but not so much.
Yeah.
Um, so I know that Dognitas is prioritizing the Camille. They want to give Loco Poco a champion he's comfortable on, but I think support counter pick would have been much better to pick on 3 there.
Yeah, for sure. But with this, we move on to the bans. We're going to see the Leona come away with taking off the table. Gwen getting taken off the table. What champion do you think we're going to see in this mid lane matchup? I mean, I predict it's going to be Yas something, but that could very much be this Yas Yumi bot.
If I remember correctly, I believe Ryan is actually an experienced Yasuo bot lane player. And then Yasuo
Yeah,
Yumi, with Yasuo passive with Yumi E, that is a lot of shielding to cut through for the Misfortune, who honestly has a lot of upfront damage. So if you block that, if you block her double tap passive, her E, it's hard for her to actually like poke you down and win lane.
yeah. What about the Poppy support angle here? It just prevents him
The
from
Poppy
eating
is
through the
banned out
wave.
on 2,
Oh, you're
unfortunately.
right. You're right. That's a good thing to note. I should pivot that to say there is other champions available. Thresh being another notable one. Janna too. Janna is on the table, I believe, as a
Yeah, I
champion
mean,
that
I,
creates
I
a
think
ton
Janna's
of
a very
space.
strong champ. For sure. I think especially MF is a champion that can like be on her own as we see Braum locked in. I'm not a huge fan of the Braum into the Yumi, honestly. I don't think he brings a lot to the table, and I would preferred something a little more roam heavy to help out the Camille and the Jarvan.
Yeah, I would agree, but we're gonna potentially maybe a Bard angle. But with that though, we're leaving the mid lane as that R5. So what is that kind of priority pick like you're foreseeing? Do you foresee something going down as we might? Oh, is this gonna be Wizard Bear?
Wizard, are you talking about the Rod of Ages?
Yeah, yeah.
What's it called? The Navori build. Yeah,
Navori build. Wizard
That's
Bear.
crazy. That's an insane nickname for it. I might have to steal that. But it's possible. I mean, it depends on where they put this volley bear. I mean, this could be.
Oh, Vlad.
It does look like
Wait.
volley top. I'm assuming with
That's
Vlad
no.
mid.
Wait.
Ah,
Is
this
I
is.
think
I
the
mean, but you
Vlad
have to
volley
pick
is a
AP
swap.
if you're dog here. Like, what do you pick
Yeah.
Rise? Like, what do you pick
I
into
mean, I
Vlad?
I mean, Orianna is a option. It is a champion that is a great ball has a great ball delivery system on the Camille, on the J4. I That's just something that I'm
That's
cooking
true.
up as like if I was in this draft, what would I think of playing? If you want something more on the like the hard scaling side, you can just pick Aurelion Sol. I believe that did not get banned. Oh, never mind, I'm wrong. That got banned, and that's rightfully so. That champion's kind of annoying. Cass is up though. I'm thinking
They
another
are
hyper
locking in the
scaling.
Orianna here.
Oh, my prediction.
So, yeah, you called it. The Orianna getting locked in. I mean, if you can lane well, Orianna. I was gonna use a different verb. Smashes a Vlad, to put it lightly, right? She can
Yeah.
get a lot of priority. He can't really trade with her because of her auto passive, and she will run him down if he even tries to hit a Q on her. So it's on Orianna to get this prio, to win lane, to get a CS advantage, and then just start hitting the Vlad as much as she can. I mean, like, even if she gets R, using R for poke and to shove in your wave is honestly a very viable strategy in these 5v5 games.
Yeah, for sure. I want our viewers when we get into this game to just watch the spacing of the mid lane. Orianna is a champion that is just able to push a lot of champions away by just existing with her ball as this kind of zoning tool within the wave, and by throwing it out early can just be like, "Hey, my ball is here. If you step up, I have the cast on available and I will just drag it to you. I will just summon Ari proc you over and over and over again, and it can be really frustrating to deal with. So, how will Neversaw play into that? Will he be able to push Oriana away, force that ball reset, kind of prevent the Ori from poking, or will he just, for the first time in this series, be in a deficit? I think in every one of these games he's been even, if not ahead. But I have not seen him fall behind.
100%. And last little thing I want to call out before we go to a short break is this is Orianna into a very short range team. Vladimir's short range, Volley is melee,
Yeah,
Yasuo is melee, and Ivern is relatively short ranged and not very high damage. This is a possibility for Orianna to almost solo win the game, especially with the misfortune ult to follow up on anything big. Like you said, it's going to be
Sigma
on her to zone
Cataclysm.
the enemy team. Yeah,
There's
it's
just so many tools.
it's going to be a banger no matter what. I mean, I love seeing Ivern picked. I think he's such a fun champion.
I just pray, please, Wizard Bear, please. Do the funny build where you just get to keep pressing your W and sustain so much.
We'll see.
That'd be
I do think it makes it
crazy.
harder for him to 1v1 lane against the Camille because she's just so squishy and she can kind of just burst you down and run away. But
True.
we'll have to see. I mean, maybe he just stomps the 1v1 and then eats her the entire game.
I will say it is the most popular build on op.gg. I don't know if it's picked up in any pro circuit, but hey, I'm just praying. Brissy, do me justice. Do me justice.
You're a believer. And on that note, we will head to a short break and we will see that in about 10 or so minutes.
Hello everybody, my name is Flash and I am joined by Juan for Game 3 of the Summit Esports Semifinals. Currently you're going to see Dog and GPR be 1-1 as Dog will pick up a game in Game 2. Going to be on the red side again with a very interesting team composition. Actually, sorry, I take that back. GPR were the ones who picked up the game. And never saw on the Vladimir. Holy, Ryan also playing Yasuo Yumi bot.
Yeah, I mean, a very, very confident pick, especially with that Yumi being picked up blue 1. She is going heal exhaust and Yasuo going TP. So Ryan, it looks like, is just playing to survive the lane phase as best he can. So I think it's really on Nico and Zach to try to punish this Yasuo's relatively weak early, especially since he doesn't have combat summoners, and getting him as behind as you can.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna say is we see the fleet footwork D shield setup for Ryan on this champion along with TP. He's really just trying to say, hey, I'm gonna try to get as much gold as I can and not die, is whatever it takes.
100%. I'm assuming he has second wind as well. So really, really playing to scale there. I am glad we're finally seeing a confident champion from Brizzy come out, not just on tank duty, on this Volibear who has a chance to play aggressively in lane to really get ahead, especially into the Camille. Now Camille does have Ignite TP, but if the Volley plays it well, he can sustain through a lot of her damage. And if he is able to Q the Camille out of her hookshot, it's actually a winning matchup for the Volibear.
Okay, that is good to know. We're gonna see the E come down as the starting skill for Brizzy here. Gonna get some good wave prio. The thing to note though is Ghost getting popped very early from Neversaw actually in the mid lane. And he's going to try to equalize a trade. Both the potions getting popped by the Orianna.
Yeah, Hamia trading a lot of HP just to get this wave shoved in here. I wonder if they're trying to invade the Ivern on the top side, because that would be my best guess. Orianna pops her pots, pushes the wave as hard as you can, and then Jarvan looks to invade the Ivern to shut down his clear. As Hamia getting dangerously low into the Vlad here, who just has so much sustain.
Yeah, I think something to keep in mind though is without TP, Vlad has to look for good base timers. And we're also seeing on the top side, Brizzy is just doing really well in Camille. He's kind of figured out how to play into poke a little bit throughout this series. He's kind of got an idea of how everything should go. Meanwhile, Neversaw taking some pretty hurtful trades. Hasn't popped the potions just yet. Oh, Agent Jason shows up. Brizzy is here though. He's going to splash the knock-up. The wave will be there. Hopefully this gets frozen, but I think it's too big and it will crash. Never mind, Neversaw! Not able to get the Q off. He will fall. He burns his ghost, and with no TP, he's going to lose the cannon wave.
Neversaw. She got a little overconfident there. Walked up onto the Orianna ball and just died to the W damage. That was a wild death and a great play by Hamia there, just getting Neversaw low enough and knowing that you can get the kill there. Proton Plat player was nearby but didn't get the shield off in time, and Vlad picking up a very early death.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. Vlad going for this D ring now into a Dark Seal. Vladimir doesn't really care about mana, so he's able to take advantage of it. There is a lot of changes we've seen from some Vladimirs for players who haven't played against a champion recently. He's kind of going for the option to put points into W. It actually gains a large amount of healing now, and he can look to kind of just like soak in the wave and get a lot of HP back towards the later levels of the game. And it's something to consider as a playstyle. But Orianna, with the tier early, with no TP being burned, is just in an advantageous position.
They don't know Proton Plat players here.
Oh, Ivern will get the easy stun as Zach goes forward. That's going to be 1. That's going to be 2. He's going to get engaged on. That's going to be the wind wall in a bad angle. It's going to get a donk up on the 2. Ryan flashes away. The auto, the ignite. Will it be enough? It's going to see Agent Jason. Not enough. He's going to fall down to 200 HP. Oh, Ryan with the TP though. He will be able to come back. The flashes will be burned. But flash still available for both Zach and Nico.
Yeah, I mean, it's a positive summoner trade, but I'd be pretty disappointed if I'm the bot lane of Dog there. Ryan living is just so disappointing. He was so low and nobody had the damage just to finish it off.
I honestly think they look for a dive angle onto the Yasuo there. He's so low. They have the summoners. They have the ability for Nico to take additional tower shots. And with a wave that big, if he loses that, it can be pretty hard.
I agree. I mean, when you have flash up on both your AD and your support, you have your jungler, the Jarvan dive. I mean, any three of those champions can tank, right? If Jarvan starts it just by autoing, he can easily flag and drag out. And either Nico or Zach have the ability to flash out after a trade or after they start tanking. I think it's a little bit of a misplay on their part not to pressure for that. Because at very worst, you force Ivern to slow down his clear a little bit more and cover.
Oh no, looks like Brissy took a bad trade. He will be forced to base as the wave crashes into them. Zach is there. Looks like Never Saw. Once they get that additional W recast, but Asian Jason's going to be on a ward. He doesn't know.
I mean, hitting the critical 6 here. Could look for the ult as Never Saw.
Oh.
Pulls it on reaction.
I think it was a predict. Oh, they're gonna go with the flag drag. He will flash away. They're gonna look for the engage. Though he's gonna cast a Q. He's gonna be able to walk out, and he's gonna pop the ghost once again with no flash and no mana. I think he's gonna look for the level up on 6, but with the minions, they're gonna block some of the damage. He's gonna have some good shielding and some good healing here, but he just can't look for a kill without 6.
For sure. I mean, if you're Vlad, I think you're pretty happy there. You get some sustain back. You do have a CS lead over the Orianna now, who did start the tier early. So
Brissy with the ultimate. He's gonna look for the auto. He cannot finish one auto attack difference, and without flash, he cannot look to follow. It looks like we're gonna see Proton Plat player trying to chase down Zach. Zach's gonna be trying to get away, just kind of messing with them. He doesn't have his mid laner there. They have to give this dragon.
Yeah, I mean, GPR playing for the Dragon Stack again. It helped them a ton last game.
Wave.
Never Saw just sustaining with the ult there on the wave. Asian Jason on a flank here.
He's going to be able to get away. And he's just going to force that W cast. He has TP. Notably enough, Orianna can look to base TP come back as Vladimir kind of has to shove the wave. He doesn't really have another choice.
Yeah, I mean, Orianna with his ult coming back up very soon. Never Saw in a dangerous predicament. If Pool ever gets burnt, Hamiya can easily just flash in, ult you, and then you're as good as dead.
Yeah, currently we're seeing Ryan do a pretty good job of actually staying, even if not ahead actually, with these minions getting picked up soon. And
yeah, he's small CS.
Asian Jason though, getting low quite again into Grubbies. He doesn't want to make the same mistake twice.
All I'm saying, right, is game 1 he got executed by the Grubs and they won. So maybe that's the trick. Maybe he just needs to get executed again and they can transition that into a win once again.
That is true. We're going to see Vladimir going to be coming back. That tap. I don't think he'll be able to pick up the plate though. I think the plate will just be just barely alive in that mid lane. And holy crap, will it go is the question. I think it went just barely. Oh my gosh. Kind of unfortunate, some gold opportunity lost for the Orianna, but the base situation, the XP's got that lost chapter, can just look to harass so much more.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes it's okay to drop a plate like that if you get a better base timer. 125 gold, like it sucks to lose, but you're here on time to catch this wave. You have prio for these Grubs that are still up. It's not the worst trade in the world.
Okay, I have a hypothesis that this is not Wizard Bear with the Sheen pickup.
It could be Lichbane. Maybe it's some like crazy tech.
That's crazy. That's some crazy first level tech. Oh, never mind. Poco's in. He's gonna get some good trade. The E comes down. He will be able to walk away. The ultimate comes down. He's gonna have the passive up here. He's gonna get the additional cast as Jarvan. And not. Oh, the slash, the flash, the drag, the ultimate dodge. He's gonna stay at 1 HP as Brissy's able to secure. And this is another bad look in the top side. A double kill, putting his team on the board in this top side as Brissy is just overperforming.
It may not be the Wizard Bear build, but Brissy is sure playing like a wizard on the keys as Neversoul gets ulted and has to run away once again. But that was a huge double kill pickup. Ivern right there behind, shadowing the bear the entire time, able to give over the critical shield that allowed Brissy to get the W recast off and heal off the Camille. Camille held her ignite there, which could have been a critical turning point had she used it.
Oh, Never Saw. He doesn't have the R though. He forces the flash from Orianna over the wall. Can't really follow, doesn't have his own damage himself. And meanwhile, Poke though, the W recast from Volibear is just something that Camille can't take these extended trades with. Can't look for those double Q, the second recast to get that true damage. Oh, Orianna.
Yeah,
just
I mean, it is
insane.
so hard to trade into a volleyball once he gets ahead, especially when you both have Sheen. Camille loses a lot of that advantage that she gets. Like, you have to space so well with her Q, but even Volley's Q and his W both have, like, extended auto range, so it's very, very hard to outspace it at this point.
Yeah, as Neversaw is just able to sustain so much. He's able just to
Picking
boom.
up a solo kill.
Holy,
Wow.
I did not think he had enough damage to do that, and he's just able to get the E off. He's actually, I think he queued the minion in front to make sure he gets the additional damage off his E, and just, like, popped her after. Because I thought
Yeah,
the
I mean-
E was able to tank some of it.
If you're right about that, that is an insane heads-up play and just incredible knowledge about your champion and your limits to Q that minion. I mean, that's like, I feel like equal to Lee Sin smiting a minion before you Q somebody, you know? Just
Oh,
fantastic.
Ryan going in. He doesn't see that Asian Jason is here. He's going to use the ultimate to cast. It's going to be both of them, though. The wind wall will block a large portion of the damage from MF. Meanwhile, oh my gosh, he's able to go back in. And he's going to flash away. Nico trying to stay on the range so that Zach can jump to them, but looks like Neversaw is going to show up. He's going to have the ghost. He's going to look to get some damage. He's going to pop the ult. He's going to go under the tower. He's going to have the healing, though. He's going to look to get another Q. He goes under. He casts the W. Will he be able to get out in time? Looks like you're going to see Ryan tanking on the other side to pick up a double kill, and it's just such a clean execute on that dive. I mean, just does a fantastic job for his team. And look at the gold tip.
Yeah, I mean, a huge gold diff going over towards the side of GPRs. We see the replay of the Vlad here. Neversaw, incredible confidence to flash in, to use the pool just to tank the perfect amount of tower shots. Ryan also tanking up a couple to get the kill over. And then Vlad, ahead in CS, 3-1-0, has the Sork shoes picked up, ahead almost 1,000 gold over the Orianna. What do you do to shut this down if you're Dog, Flash?
I don't know that there's too much. I think you need to play off your power plays, your ultimates. Looking to team fight and just kind of look to nuke a player with your ultimates, right? If I think of strong ultimates, I think of Orianna, I think of MF, I think of J4, and just isolation. So together, they need to look to just take a player off of ganking Private Riven and just snap them away. Thanos that player off the map and look to use a numbers advantage going into a fight.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we need to see them start rotating around the map more, even if it means dropping a couple plates, losing a couple waves, and just playing together. Because at this point, when it's 6-1, when you're down 3k gold in 12 minutes, you have to start getting a little risky with your plays. You have to start changing up, right? You can't necessarily always play standard. And at this point, I mean, Ivern already finished up the redemption. That's extra healing for Vlad. That shields. We might even see the Yuumi eventually transition to this Vladimir. You need to shut that down as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, we're really seeing the Braum pick get punished here because Braum just isn't a great answer to Yuumi, let alone a lot of the other champions. So I think it's really important for both these teams to just try as much as they can to solidify their leads that they have and keep them. Because if they don't keep them, going into this, oh, never mind, as soon as the Asian Jason goes in, the MF, as MF is looking to have a good ult angle. Meanwhile, the Yasuo, he has the R. He's very low. He's chunked in the back. It's 17 HP as both junglers have Spite secured by the Ivern. They go back. They get one. The Orianna ult's there. Neversaw, she is just cooking everyone up with the W, but will not be able to get the healing off. She will fall. Meanwhile, Asian Jason is going to try to look over the wall with that VQ. They're going to finally pick some much needed shutdowns, but they lose the dragon.
I mean, the Vlad shutdown going over to the Braum is not the greatest outcome there, as we see the replay here. MF with a good bullet time, getting Ryan down to very low HP. And we see Asian Jason able to go back in after the Cataclysm, picks up the, almost fights the dragon away, and Neversaw gets stunned up by the Braum passive and gets chain CC to death. And this is just what you were talking about. Dog played together. They waited for everyone to come. Even with the Vlad, even with the super fed Vlad coming in, they were able to win that team fight because they played together.
Yeah, take advantage. Teams win games, numbers win games, and even though they don't have some crazy champion, oh, never mind, solo bowl from Brissy in the top side. The Wizard King, because he's a wizard on the keyboard, because holy crap, is this guy 3-0, just dumpstering Pope. I mean, after game one, I would not expect his performance, but meanwhile, we're going to see who TP's in the top side. It's going to be the Orianna. They try to redeem this. Meanwhile, we're going to see Asian Jason show up. It's going to be all three members. He gets low. He gets down to 100 HP. It's going to be a 400 gold pickup for that Orianna as they look to push on the top side, but looks like Neversaw, she will punish, taking some good damage onto that mid lane turret.
For sure. I mean, a fantastic solo dive by Brissy onto the Camille. And this matchup will not get any easier if you keep dying like that. Camille is the champion that thrives on being ahead in gold, and when the Volibear is solo killing you, there is not a lot of comeback potential from there. You're going to need a lot of help from your team. And it's good that Dog was able to make a play and pick up the kill on Brissy on the back end of that. That they committed Jarvan, showing where he's at. They committed Oriana's TP. They committed the Braum walking all the way up there. It's a lot of resources to kill a bear that gets a 1-for-1 at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. Could I get a check on how many points are in Neversaw's W? I'm very curious to see if they're going for the new Vladimir tech. Oh, it's QE max. Okay, I guess I'm wrong. But
yeah,
Cosmic Drive early, I think that reduces the power at this point in the game.
Cosmic Drive Vlad is just such a nuisance to deal with. He just has infinite move speed and runs around, and it's just so hard to ever get on top of him. As Loco Poco, like on the Camille here, it's really hard to engage because he can just pull your hook shot anytime you try to run in. And Vlad with his E especially can just clear the wave. I do want to mention the Vladimir W build. A lot of times we're seeing players go for Grasp with full scaling runes. You kind of just played a... Yeah, you go like Grasp, Demolish, Conditioning, Overgrowth, double scaling HP, Gathering Storm, like all this stuff to allow your champion to scale into the late game.
Yeah, for sure. I think the question though, as we move towards this third dragon as a pretty pivotal fight, is will we see the potential for Ryan on this Yasuo to really be a nuisance? In that last fight, he got really pushed to the back of the pit. He couldn't really do anything. The MF ult pushed him into a corner. And I think it's going to come down to him being a very large damage source of his team. I mean, he's got basically 2 enchanters. He's got an Ivern and he's got a Yuumi. Can he use them to keep himself alive to really CC lock up and get some good DPS out? Because all 5 members of Dog, they got some damage or they got some crowd control on them.
For sure. I actually think it's the opposite. I think killing Ryan would be like a huge misplay by Dog because of how much damage his Volibear is going to be putting out, of how much damage his Vlad is going to be putting out. If all the focus goes on to Ryan, I think he's pretty happy as
go down as Ryan's going to look to go in. He's actually going to be CC'd up. He's going to look to take out Nico. Nico's going to be on the tower. The ultimate comes down from Braum. Meanwhile, they're going to be inside the TP onto the ward. It's going to actually not going to stop the tower. Brissy will not prevent it as the MF looks to get down. They're going to be very low. He's stunned up. He's going to take some good damage. The Ignite comes down. Meanwhile, we're going to see Oriana walk forward. No kills were exchanged, but so many resources from both teams with Dragon spawning in 45. Neversaw, she's continuing to push out that side wave.
Yeah, this is Vlad getting more and more fed, building towards that. I'm assuming it's a death cap second. And we should see that completed very soon as this Vlad has been getting a ton of resources in these side lanes. Vlad both sums up and an R for this dragon fight. If you're Dognitas, Flash, do you even take this fight knowing that Vlad has the R, has the Flash, has the Ghost here?
I think you need to pick on someone else. You just need to get some in. And without an in, what can you do? Like, you need to get a numbers advantage. There is a TP
It's really
diff,
hard.
though.
There is a TP diff. Camille does have the ability to push in the wave, which means Volibear will have to catch it or drop it for this dragon fight. But Camille doesn't have the Hextech ultimatum. She has no flash either, so you have to hit a hookshot raw.
Ryan looks to go in. He forces the TP from the Camille as he walks around. And it looks like it will be up all 4 members, but look where Volibear is. Volibear is nowhere near this fight.
Volibear actually giving up since Loco Poco TP'd so early. I think he got a little bit baited by Ryan dashing in because he just immediately walked away. Neversaw could be caught out here.
Ultimate. He's going to look to get the E. She's going to walk away, getting some good HP back. Meanwhile, on the other side, Ryan's going to go in. The ultimate coming down from Ivern will create some space as Volibear, the Brissy is here. He's got 3 kills. He wants to show you that he can use them. He's got the ult in a few seconds. Meanwhile, both of them are inside. They're going to turn their eyes onto Ryan. Ryan's going to be using some serious resources. He gets the ultimate off. He will set up 3 members of the opposing team as Dog is getting walked. And it will not be too many. It looks like we're going to see Asian Jason and Oriana creating some necessary space, but can it be enough? 1, 2, a double. It's going to be 2 surviving members of Dog as they get out, only picking up a single kill on the Yasuo. And like you said, my prediction was wrong. It seems that the Vladimir, the Volibear are these big threats.
No, I mean, I have to give a lot of credit to Ryan there. While he might not have put out a ton of damage individually that fight, he hit a 3-man ult. Obviously, Yasuo ult, as we'll see right here, is able to reset his shield, which buys him so much time for the Yuumi ult to heal him up. And look how long he is stalling just by existing.
Yeah.
He burns 3 flashes. Like, the Yasuo bought so much time for this Volibear, for this Vladimir to go in and do damage.
Holy, what a performance from Ryan on this pick. And for those who maybe don't know, Ryan actually used to be a mid laner within Summit. He played that role for a long time, going by the username of Logic. And actually, we're going to see Neversaw pops the ultimate, looks to go in. Loke does show up, but it's not going to look like anything, just going to continue to defend the turret.
Yeah, I mean, obviously his mid lane roots are showing now as he's able to pull out these flex picks like the Yasuo bot. I'm curious if he has anything else in his tool house, but the Yasuo bot is proven to be a fantastic flex pick here and making a ton of pressure around the map.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see his Silas being played in the APC role in this series, but it is something that I know he does play. I have played that against him myself, I can attest. And it's something that he does have the skill to play, but currently, with him being this AD carry for his team, that swap between jungle, I don't think that's really in the cards. Kind of sticking to a more traditional. The Yasuo is probably the furthest.
Loco Poco could be caught out by the daisy here with Brizzy here. I don't know what Camille can do to get away. She doesn't have flash.
Oh, the slow though from the W. She's gonna buy enough time. Ryan though, pushed away. That looks like that mid tower will fall. I don't think they can stop it.
No, not a lot you can do with 3 people pushing a tower, but I don't think they're too upset to drop that at 21 minutes into the game. Like, I mean, GPR is in a pretty happy place right there. They're up about 1,000 gold. They have another dragon spawning in 3 minutes, and they're already at 3. It's so point for them. Like, if you're GPR, all you have to do is stall here. Your Vlad is Thanos. Yeah, exactly. Like, what's a mid tower? You just sit here. I mean, not AFK, but you farm waves, and if Dog doesn't do anything, you get to fight Dragon, and I think at this point you're still significantly stronger.
No, for sure, I completely agree. I think something to consider though in this game is how do they play the mid to late? We're currently seeing Dog picking up some resources, catching up. We're seeing the Camille pick up a CS lead. We're seeing the experience level between the solo laners kind of show as their ability to collect farm in the mid game comes out, along with their vision collection for their team. And I think that's kind of where they have some opportunity to get themselves back. GPR is in a very stable place. They just have to make mistakes to lose this game. So if they just kind of continue to play this out, let Vlad scale, this game is theirs. So can Dog force them to make mistakes, take advantages, take plays? How risky do they want to be, Juan? Like, what can you really do?
I mean, at this point, I think you have to be pretty risky, right? Like, I think if I'm a player in this game, right, put yourself in the perspective of a player. You know the enemy team is pretty strong. They have a lot of shields. They have a lot of healing. Your chances are not looking great. It's looking a little bit dire, I'll be honest. As Neversaw looking to dive Hamia here. Okay, just pushing him off the tower.
Pushing him away.
Yeah, I mean, just a very confident play from Neversaw overall. She's having a fantastic game of the flat. Reacting to the Ori ult again.
They get the ultimate down, but it looks like Orianna does not have the ultimate. She doesn't have the flash, and she will fall. Proton Plat actually secures the kill there off the Q. And we're going to see the response, cross-map play, taking this tier 2, which I think is just such a smart transition from them as a team. They're going to be able to get some gold. The TP is being forced.
Double TP coming in.
That's a pretty big
Agent Jason could be in trouble.
Oh, as they walk away. Proton Plat, though, he's by himself. The Yuumi is there. He's going to have to flash away from the Cataclysm as meanwhile is actually going to pull his ult as well. Meanwhile, we're also going to see, Camille forces everything down. He will fall. The Yuumi is by themselves. Ryan shows up, though. Brizzy is there with the Yuumi, with everything. The MF ult comes down. It will be blocked by the wind wall with the shield. The stuns are going to come up. Nico is still alive. Ryan is still alive, too. The CC, it will be enough. It looks like, oh my god, Poke, 1 HP. He's trying to stay alive. Neversaw is here. Will she be able to turn the fight? The
Neversaw!
How is Yuumi not dead? It's a triple. He's looking for the Quadra. He's going to be able to get something here. As Asia Jason falls down, he looks for this Quadra kill. It will be picked up.
Penta!
I don't think
we
that's
can see
Penta.
it. It's not yet. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Neversaw wants it. She wants it so bad. She's hungry.
So bad. Oh, they
popping the ult. We can see it.
But there's no ultimate from Brizzy. They can't take away the tower. The Orianna is pretty safe under there.
For sure. With Zach responding, the hopes of the Penta fall to nothing. But I mean, a fantastic fight nonetheless. It was looking so promising for Dog there. I think they played it pretty well. They were able to pick off the Ivern really early. They were able to kill Ryan, but they didn't account for Neversaw running in. She finally got to the fight and just once again was able to kill everyone.
I think it was really dumb how Yumi. Oh my god, just gone! Snapped away by the likes of the Orianna, and it just keeps happening. And another Catalysm comes down. It looks like we're gonna see Agent Jason stuck down pretty low. Never saw she keeps cooking everybody up. Oh my god, Brissy.
Could we
is
see
so
the penta
tanky.
this time?
This could be the penta angle. That's a triple. Oh, it could be picked
Oh.
up. That's gonna be the triple.
It's
He's
forward.
looking for the penta. Nico's quite low. He
Let's
gets it.
go!
Oh, sorry, she
Never
gets
saw
it.
with the penta.
Oh, never saw with the penta on Orianna. Or not Orianna.
I mean-
Vlad.
I mean, she didn't get it the first time. She got it the second time. Sometimes it takes two. I mean, look at this. What can Dog do that Vladimir's just running at you, eating all the damage, and is just killing you instead?
I mean, what? That was so much damage. And the Yumi, the healing, it doesn't matter. MF has heal cuts. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, at this point, it is just too little too late, I think. I mean, look at that healing off the Baron. That was like half of Vlad's HP bar just in a single Q. It's 1,015, by the way, 1015 off of a Q. So 3k healing, almost 4k healing reduced by MF's Mortal Reminder, but with the Yumi shielding, with the Vlad healing, does it really matter? I think it's still just too much. On that note, it's a full stack Magi as well. Now we see Dognitas here running into the top side of the jungle, doing what they can to recover these waves. With the mid tower gone, they do have plenty of time to push up and get Prio, try something. They're stacking in the bush, but trying to catch Proton player out. Ryan by himself sees the Orianna. He might look for something. MF also seen on vision, so Ryan's gonna back off.
What can MF do here? Like, what is possibly available for her as a champion? I mean, she's in a pretty difficult situation, and never saw can just run at anyone. Like, Vladimir is just so bad. Like, holy.
Ryan trying his best to defend this turret 1v4, but I don't know if it matters because Neversaw on the top side is also getting a tier 2 as Brizzy here to cover.
Brizzy is here, he throws down the E. Looks like, oh my god, we just cut to seeing Camille dead. It is nearly a 10,000 goal lead and we're at 27 minutes into the game. They do have Soul. Looks like Ryan and Brizzy are looking just
Dognitas need to recall here. They need to find a way to get away.
Oh, the
Vlad is going to end this game.
They stall for something. They're looking for
Ryan
some way
trying to
stop
interrupt
the game.
recalls.
Ryan is trying to do something.
MF and Jordan got it off. Eco and Agent Jason trying their best.
Oh, crap, Migo just got chunked. Looks like we're gonna see ultimate coming down. Oh, never saw just healing everything. They just tanked an entire NF ultimate and just picked a, what is this? What are these numbers? They're in the fountain.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. This champion is so much HP and so much healing at this point in the game that there's nothing they can do to stop them. They're just on a killing spree. They're just running after players. They have no concern to end the game, picking up a double for themselves. Ryan picks up a kill for himself, and we're going to be 2-1. GPR potentially looked to just reverse sweep.
Yeah, I mean, Neversaw apparently took it pretty personally losing that game 1 with 2 massive performances back-to-back on the Nasus and the Vlad. And I mean, look at that gold graph. It is a bit of a mountain there. It looks like GPR was just in control the entire game and never let go.
What is going? Oh gosh, look at that damage from Vlad. Disgusting.
Hey, that's what you get when you get a Quadra and a Penta. You gotta dish some damage out to get those.
Yeah, that's true. So with that, Neversaw just showed that she has another champion in her pool that's just available. And we just have not seen the solo lanes of Dog really put up a really strong performance since game 1. Game 1, they looked like they were just gonna have a lot of fighting. And I think some adaptation from the players, from Brissy, from Neversaw, has just shown that they are capable of adjusting. And Dog's solo laners need to make those adjustments too.
I completely agree. I do want to mention that Orianna was the R5 counter pick here into the Vlad. And I'll be real, it got kind of dumpstered. So when you're picking these counter matchups, you got to make sure you can pick ones that you're comfortable playing and where you're not just gonna lose anyways.
Yeah. So with that, we are playing a best of 5. We could be looking at a complete GPR reverse, or will Dog force the game 5 after a really tough game 2 and game 3 loss? They were down by 10k gold. They've been looking very, very rough in these last 2 performances. So it's going to be up to them to kind of see if they can turn things around and kind of rebound in this game 4. And Juan, do you think they got the opportunities? Do you think they can make the adjustments?
I think Dog has it in him. We saw it game one. We've seen promising moments, especially in these early games. I don't think they're down and out. It's all about just keeping your mental. And I mean, if you look at that Drake count, I think it might be about Drakes. How can win when it's 4 dragons to 0? But
I think you're
we'll have to
onto
see what
something.
adaptations they make. So
With that, we'll be heading to a quick break, and we will see you guys in Game 4 draft. Hello, everybody. My name is Flash Tonight. I am joined by Juan for Game 4 between GPR and Dog. GPR currently lead 2-1 off the back of a pentakill from Neversaw. She is doing an incredible job on the Vladimir. Had a rough performance on the Azir in Game 1, but was able to turn things around in Game 2 and 3. And Dog on the ropes in a do or die situation. This could be their last game with the eyes on the prize on that trophy in the grand finals. They need to pull off a win and force a game 5.
100%. Now, I do want to get your opinion, Flash. Dog, after losing on the red side here, they do ban out the Yumi, they do ban out the Smolder, but they picked red side again. Why do you think that is?
I think they believe in their solo laners to have a counter pick that can really help them in this game. I truly think that last game, the Oriana just kind of really struggled into the Vladimir and really wasn't the answer they thought it was going to be. And also the synergy that it had. But I think they're really banking on having these counter options, these counter picks to what GPR takes. And it looks like we're going to see the Ivern come out matched with the MF.
100%. Now, if you're GPR here, do you think you pick the Vlad again since it's open?
You could, but there's so much more available. Vlad struggles with that lockdown. We saw the Braum, the J4 just kind of bounce it around with CC. So Vi getting picked up kind of pushes me to think that GPR will wait a little bit to show that mid pick until they see some more.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Vlad Pool does counter Vi's R pretty well, at least. And I think after coming off such a hot game, oh, we're actually going to see the Leona lock in instead for Dog. I mean,
Yeah, you
MF
can
Leona
even
is just
dodge
like,
the. Yeah, it's a strong combo,
I
right?
mean, it's just so traditional. Like, Leona solar flare into bullet time. What can you do?
Yeah. Do they run back the Yasuo? I think it's a potential option, but I think with the Leona having that quick stun kind of disincentivizes the Yumi, right? If Yumi gets off, it's really easy to stun her, delay her from getting attached, and she can get bursted down. That was kind of the crux that they had last time is
It
they couldn't see
is a
Yumi.
full shield comp.
What the? Shields to win. That's what they're looking like.
Yeah. We had talked about the Serpent thing last game. I don't believe anybody on the side of Dog picked it up. And it looks
No,
like
the
GPR.
J4 did.
Oh, did the J4 end up building it? My bad.
Yep,
But
but
regardless,
just
I
didn't
mean,
matter
I think
enough.
shields are, yeah, shields are just so strong. Ivern combined with Seraphine and Yasuo once again, like you have to cut through a lot of shield before you even start touching their HP.
True. I think having the strong carry option here for Dog can be really scary. They do have both all of their top side open to be this carry pick. And I think Asian Jason has kind of shown to be the more proactive jungler, kind of setting the tempo for his team, with Proton and Ryan being more reactive.
Oh
Oh, the
my god.
Karthus pickup.
You talked about carry junglers. Well, there you go.
Holy.
Karthus, extremely strong if he can get rolling. Also a champ that farms it very, very quickly. And if they play a stable game, he can steal away a lot of the camp from the Ivern, who
The
has
tempo.
zero. Yeah, I mean, just insane tempo. And Ivern can never really duel Karthus.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Q, just being able to just like with that blue buff spam out so much damage, mana being really the balancing factor in Karthus's hit, right? Especially in those early levels. Jungle allows him to get that buff, and if they fight around that Scuttle Crab with double buffs on both champions, I just don't see a way Ivern wins without a teammate there. And we're gonna move into the next rounds, and Nasus taken off the table. Volley's gonna look like he's gonna get banned. Brissy Poland, a notable ban in the top side on that Volibear.
Yeah, I mean, Brissy had such a big impact, picking up solo kills, picking up kills 1v2, and the 2v2. I think it's smart to ban away that champion because Volley, as good as Brissy looked on it, is also an easier to play champ, right? And I think you want to get them off of that comfort pick.
Yeah, for sure. Camille getting banned away by GPR. What do you think the top lane will see from Dog? I mean, we saw Poke on a few picks. We saw him on Camille and we saw him on Aurora, but he's played Camille in 2 games. He's got a 50% win rate in this Furies, and we're going to see the R4 Renekton hover.
I'm not a huge fan of the Renekton blind here. I would have preferred something like the Aatrox, to be honest. I think a much stronger blind pick. Even like the Garen this patch, I think is so strong.
Yeah, Karen. Oh my God, the Beyblade.
Yeah, Garen's so absurdly tanky. Just through his W, and then he
Into
builds full
Ornn.
crit and kills everything.
Yeah, it looks like an Ornn hover top. I mean, they're just looking to build a scaling composition. I
Yeah,
think
I
there
mean,
is the argument to be made of weakness is if Yasuo is not a champion who does damage, he's not ahead. Oh,
oh my god, it's the Garen mid.
I've played against this. It does its job. Um, but that's about it. It shoves waves and doesn't die. It struggles with getting kill pressure in fights, but it hopes to capture you on the side and just like burst you.
with just the outright E damage and silence from the Q. So it can be a very strong pick, but the likes Hui has that
Way being
fear.
picked
He
up.
has a lot of zone control. This
Now,
champion
Flash.
could be the turning point.
Yeah, I agree. Hui has a lot of things. Now, I might be crazy, but hear me out. What if they just like Omega cooked GPR? What if it's Seraphine Ornn bot, Yasuo mid, Garen top?
I think you
Trade
could get
offer.
away with it, but I think Ornn needs to be support and Seraphine needs to be the APC if you're going for that cook. Just because it puts Ornn as the support, and then you transition him into getting EXP because you want him to hit level 13, right? You want to take advantage of that passive to make sure that he is upgrading items. That's kind of the trade-off, right? If you're playing Ornn as a support, we've seen it in LCK and I think
Yeah.
LPL a few times as he getting played as a support champion. But you really are only doing that if you expect the game to go late enough where Ornn can get those items upgraded through his leveling. So if that
Yeah.
doesn't really happen, he can't be the best. But Yasuo, I don't know if Neversaw plays Yasuo. I haven't seen it from her.
I guess we'll find out. I'm assuming it's the Ryan Yasuo for being realistic here, but I would be very excited if they decided to do something crazy on this game 4, especially on match point when they're trying to take it all. You know, this is the time when you can really throw the enemy team off.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I will say, in our series against GPR, we forced them to 5 games with some very interesting comp decisions. Um, Playing Draven mid into Neversaw and playing Vigar Tom Kench bot. So like it is possible to force this team to 5 games. I think Dog has the opportunity to do it. It just questions comes down to like, can their players continue to perform well and punish the mistakes from GPR going into this last game? Potentially, because they've kind of been the one who's been getting punished. Dog makes a play, GPR is there to respond. They pick up everything. They get the dragons, they're getting kills, they're also responding. They've been only behind really in game 1 by a little bit, and even then they were able to come back.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I do want to call out Dog's comp. I want to see them paying a lot of attention to their own jungler as well as the enemy jungler because they have a comp, right, that wants to get ahead and stay ahead. They want a short, fast game. I mean, Hui's a poke mage. Karthus obviously scales, but Renekton, MF are all champions that want to win and win fast. And I think if Dog falls behind, they're going to really struggle to come back into this Ivern, and into this Seraphine, the Ornn, the Garen. Like, these champions are very tanky and have a lot of shielding on them. So if you can't win
No,
quickly, it's going to be a struggle to win that late game.
I completely agree. I could see if Poke has the game of his life and just becomes a menace on this Renekton, it can be really scary for Seraphine and Ivern. That is a
Yeah,
possibility. Um, but with the last 2 games of performance from him, I'm kind of hesitant to suggest that as an option. So if he can really, really show me why his team is trusting him with these strong top lane picks, they have the ability to force game 5. But if he does not perform, it puts so much more pressure onto their mid jungle.
I agree. I mean, Renekton with his empowered W smashing through shields is so good into their comp specifically. I think we need to see Karthus pathing into this top lane, getting this Ornn as behind as possible. Just to first of all stop the Ornn value, and secondly just to accelerate your Renekton. Because again, if they don't, I'm not really sure why you're picking the champ otherwise. But
True.
on that note, we'll head into a short break, and we'll be back when the game's here.
makes it sound.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. My name is Flash and Knight. I am joined by Juan for game number 4 of Summit Semifinals, deciding who will be our second team in the grand finals. Currently, GPR lead 2-1 after a strong game 2 and 3 performance, having a little bit of a rocky start in game 1. Ryan back on the Yasuo as we see him taking the TP. Volser also with the Enchantress support. First time we've seen Poke, though, in this series on the Renekton as we see a potential early
Ryan could
invade.
be in trouble here with a.
Oh.
Oh, Zach. Unfortunate miss from the Zenith blade there. Not his fault by any means, but that would have been just so nice if that connected. I do like Dognitas finally doing like a level 1 play, right? 5-man invading. Obviously, the GPR gets some counter wards down on the red side, but like the proactivity is good. I think going for a standard 5-point is not always the best play, and especially with a comp like this, you know, why not try it, right?
Yeah, I think they might be looking to steal camps from the Ivern. They know Karthus is pretty strong, and if your prediction is correct, Karthus does beat him early. We could see that happen as never saw on this Garen in the mid lane.
For sure. We also see Loco Poco actually dropped a ward into his red jungle. So they'll see Proton Plat player if he tries to smite away the red. Proton Plat is walking towards these Raptors, and he's going to find Asian Jason there, who will have the level 2 already.
Oh, he throws the Q out. He knows it's not there.
They have a ward. They
Asian
will spot him
Jason.
out. Asian Jason could go for the kill here, but
Proton
PPP
Plat
is just
player
going
knows that
to
he's
walk
making-
away.
He has to counter. He's going to go run straight for red.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't run straight to it since they had a ward on it, because Ivern can do the Q over, start it, and insta smite it to get a kill, or to get the camp, as he looks to go do that now.
Yep. Currently we're seeing Ryan. A little tougher is the situation as Volser, being a champion on the lane, has to also worry about his own HP. Being the Yuumi, you kind of rely on your teammate to path for you. But in this situation, he's kind of put himself in jeopardy. Meanwhile, Never Saw taking a lot of damage in these early levels.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Hami poking her down, but a lot of mana spent for this way already, and never saw, not even popping her potion yet, just kind of chilling and farming as Rizzy looking for a gank setup here.
For level 3, Proton Plat player is going to see that come down. He's going to flash the stun. He's going to sidestep that too. Great dodge of the gank, but without flash, this could be pretty devastating. The thing to note though is Wei has built-in mana through his kit, right? He has that ability to summon those mana orbs where he can just auto attack to get additional mana back. So his mana sustain is pretty good if he's willing to use that ability. But into Garen's just got healing sustain.
For sure. The other issue is you still have to get all 3 autos off for it to be mana positive, I believe, and it costs quite a bit upfront to spawn those. So it paints you as a very big gank target if you happen to use that ability and the enemy jungler is nearby.
Looks like Proton Platform is coming back, but look at the clear difference. He's trying to... Oh, Agent Jason, you need to come top. You
Loco
need to
Poco
help
could
your
be dove
forward.
here. Proton Plat player is going to spot him out. The Q from the bush.
Oh, he flash Qs. He misses. He actually casts the Q before he flashes. He's going to take a tower shot, but they're going to be able to get at this. This could be a turn from Karthus. Karthus, this could be your opportunity. He's got double buffs. Proton Plat player sees him. He drops the ward. He's going to shield up Brissy. Brissy has flash. This could be an opportunity to get out. He's going to flash over the wall. Without the ability to follow, looks like Agent Jason will not be able to get either of them. They play that so well.
Yeah, I
Getting
mean,
one kill without
that was a
losing anyone.
great dive. Even though PPP missed the Q onto the Renekton there, missed the flash Q even, he was able to keep tanking the turret, shielded himself as Nico in trouble here.
And we see Zach going down under Nico. Just seeing Ryan is just playing with such aggression on this Yasuo, and that's what makes it so scary. And for those who have not played against Yasuo bot, the champion really lives or dies by that early level of aggression and trying to go in. And we're seeing him do it. And with this wave stacking, even if he dies here, it's good. Like, he just bullies away Nico from all of this CS. And fortunately, they're not going to commit for that option as Karthus passed down. But holy, wait, Juan.
Do you see the CS gap in the jungle with the camp respawn?
I do see that it is a 10 CS gap his way. Getting
Oh.
ganked here by Proton Plat player. Burns the flash and gets away safely. A big gap towards the Karthus, but
Ryan has no flash. He drops it down. The ultimate, the Q for Karthus, picks up a kill. Dragon is
I mean,
up.
this is exactly what you need to happen if you're Dog, right? You got to get this Karthus ahead. He's ahead in camps, has a kill now. Ahead about 200 gold already.
We're gonna start this dragon up. I think if our prediction is correct throughout this series, dragons have really influenced so much, as both teams really need to play around these early dragons. As meanwhile, we're gonna see a solo bolo. Poke finally puts that Renekton to use, gets a kill. Without TP from Brissy, he's gonna be losing a lot here.
Yeah, I mean, while his team is doing Dragon 2, that is such a confident play. As Neversaw looking to roam up, Neversaw has finally hit 6 in the Garen. She's very strong, but Loco Poco just going to back off, play it safe. And I mean, this is what you needed the comp to do, right? You need early kills in the Renekton. You need early kills on the Karthus, and that's what they're getting.
The gold difference is almost completely tied up. If we count Dragon as a kill worth of gold itself, I mean, in terms of raw value and stats, it's got that. And it is providing for the entire team for the rest of the game, and the gold, it's a kill difference. It's 300. It's not a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Still very tight. I think the biggest thing for Dog here is they need to make sure their bot lane don't keep dying to this Yasuo. Like, early deaths happen. It was unfortunate that they died once. But you need to shut that down, and he cannot be a menace like he was last game.
Oh, this could be pretty dangerous. He casted out his fear already. It was missed. The flash was not used. Neversaw was trying to run away. He's going to be able to look for everything. The ultimate will come down. He will get the kill. It will be solo bolo for her as they look to push in a wave, and now they're going to swing the gold right back towards them without TP. Hui is in a pretty bad situation.
Yeah, really unfortunate. Again, this was the Hui counter pick into the Garen, so walking up that far when you're without flash is a bit of a misstep.
Well, sir, patience in the bush. Sidesteps the predicted cast from Leona. Oh, love to see it.
I'm really surprised to see this Yasuo doing so well in lane 2, because I think, and I don't know about you, Flash, but I think Seraphine's a little bit weaker in the early game than Yuumi is on an individual just like laning level.
Yeah, I think the value that they provide doesn't happen until later, where they have their R and they're able to just provide that protection. And it looks like Brissy gonna have a 1v1 that goes down. He's gonna get the knockup, but he's in a pretty bad situation without his flash. He's gonna E away. Oh, Karthus with that coming through. He's gonna be 1 HP. Loke looking for something. The auto will cancel. Proton Plat is here. He's trying to stall for time. Looks like he's gonna flash and secure the kill. The Q comes out. He will be sidestepped from Loke. Loke does not have R. He's looking for something. The auto. He needs one more for the knockup. It will come through but not connect. And that will be a kill secured for the top laner, as this Renekton is looking so good for Loke. I mean, dude, in the first game he was looking very good. Second and third he had a little bit of a slip, but this game 4 he is on it.
Yeah, coming out confident, getting these early kills onto this Ornn is exactly what you need to do. And I really like that he's not greeting his flash, right? Like, as soon as he sees the Ivern, he flashes for the kill, and then he's able to use his slice to get away.
Comes out. Looks like Ryan's gonna go for something. He has a stun up. They will not be able to get anything off of this as Ryan falls down to 1 auto attack difference of HP. The skill comes in from Nico. Bolster with no mana will not be able to do anything for him. Without flash available from Ryan, he has no way of getting away or closing the gap onto Nico, who still had their summoner spell up, still had the barrier.
Yeah, I mean, this Dog bot lane, after having that early death on the Leona, are coming back. They have a 20 CS gap, and they just picked up a 2v2 kill onto Ryan. He's now at 2 deaths on the Yasuo, and it's not going to get any easier. Yasuo, while having the shield, is still a very squishy champion. For a melee champion, he actually has ranged champion stats in terms of like armor MR, so he dies very, very easily.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Yasuo, he's in a situation now where he has the Vamp Scepter. He's got a little bit of healing. He's got a little bit of shielding from the Seraphine. He's looking for something, but meanwhile, we're going to see the silence come through. He pops the ultimate. Meanwhile, Asian Jason, they're looking to slow him down. He's going to force the flash. Finally, the E-cast comes out, and he will be pushed under tower without any subs, but he's just going to look to pick up the CS. And he's up by nearly 10 CS at 10 minutes here.
For sure. And Garen not too upset about that trade. Sucks that she has to blow her flash, but she has Garen's passive and is just going to sustain up for this next wave.
Wait.
Honestly, not the end of the world, especially getting Asian Jason to show.
Oh my god, Asian Jason has so much CS. He's just clearing top to bot over and over again. It's like Zach showing up. I don't think this is a dive that you can take without 6 being available.
The Hex
And they're
Flash.
gonna show. Oh. Hex Flash over the wall. Meanwhile, Nico is by himself. No ultimate available from Seraphine. The flash on the Ryan. He could look for some cheeky play. He's gonna pop down the wind wall to deny as much harm as possible.
Yeah, and I do want to mention we have the Dragon spawning in 20 seconds here. So we should see both teams pressuring towards his bot side and getting ready for a fight. Wade doesn't have ult for it, and Garen does, which can make it a very, very dangerous time, as both top laners have TP, so I'm curious to see if either of them will use it.
The question is, though, I think Brissy wants the top laners to TP, but I think on the side of Loke's like, dude, I'm just gonna reset, run top again, and I just want to push in this wave. I don't want Brissy to TP for this fight. I want to just take towers and punish.
For sure. I mean, I think if I'm Brissy, I'm just gonna. It's a little bit late, but I think you start walking to this dragon because
I think
if you're Loke, yeah, you can get plates, but I think Loco needs to be at the dragon. But it looks like GPR is actually just gonna give it over, and that's 2 dragons over towards the side of Dog.
Yep, they're gonna look really good here as we're gonna continue to see some CS leads grow. Mid lane's about 10 as Wei continues to pick up more and more CS as they look to finish that Blackfire. Karthus does have it. Karthus has a lot of gold. He has a sizable 30 CS lead into that Ivern. And Ivern, though, has 2 assists. He's about 2 kills up in difference for that Karthus. And that's just pretty scary as we start to see the grub timers go away. We transition to the Herald period. Top priority will be there in the next few minutes as Dragon is on cooldown.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Karthus having the Blackfire torch come out. Renekton just picks up his Black Cleaver. Orin does have Sunfire, but Black Cleaver, especially after its buffs, is such a nice item. It is very, very strong early. And Brizzy, who's already been struggling in lane, will struggle a lot harder in these extended trades with the Renekton.
Yeah, for sure. Zach's going to be looking to get some wards. Zach is finally 6. So that can be a pretty scary thing to realize. As once the champions hit 6, it looks like we're going to see pretty interesting trade. Zach walking down, forcing Neversaw, gonna sidestep the ultimate. Meanwhile, we're gonna see the stun come down. Neversaw going to get protected by his jungler who has the tempo here. But the thing is with Herald spawning, MF can just look to stay safe. The freeze is just kind of painful to watch, but they want that Herald, it looks like.
Yeah, and I do want to mention, I think this is a much better Leona game from Zach compared to the Braum games that he played earlier. I think he's roaming a lot more and impacting the map around his team, helping secure a lot of objectives. And I think this is what you need to do against this GPR team, because when you're staying in lane, they were getting individual advantages. But when you're moving around as a team, I think Dog still teamfights a little bit better when they're not crazy behind. In these even game states or close to even, I think they fight much better as a team.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think something that they're doing well this game is they're just moving around the support like you said, but I think something that they are kind of getting baited into is putting all this pressure on the Neversaw. Currently, we're seeing them go in onto Proton Plat. We're going to see the flash go over the wall. This could be lethal, though. They do have the Karthus R. It looks like he's going to get some protection. Oh my god, he's going to get the cancel there on the silence. The Horn comes down. Looks like they're going to
Demacia!
And they cancel the R. That is so good for a Proton Plat player. That is a massive gold swing, not for his team, but also for him. He's going to have some tempo on the map.
I think that was just such a greedy play on the side of Dog, because I'm not sure if that Karthus R even kills Proton Plat player. Like, first of all, it's a Karthus with only Blackfire, and that's an Ivern with his massive shield, which reprocs if it doesn't hit an enemy champion. That's essentially 2 shields that you have to cut through. That is a lot to deal with.
Yep.
And they get punished for it.
It's just destroying this tower, and we're gonna see the ultimate come down. We'll connect them to both of them. It looks like we're gonna see something get thrown down. The E from Nico will slow, but I'd like to note there, before that fight started, did you see how much damage was coming out from Nico onto that tower?
Nico doing big. I mean, yeah, MF with this Bloodthirster. I mean, it's the reason she's such a strong pick right now is Loco Poco getting quite low into the Ornn. But yeah, I mean, MF just does so much damage. Bloodthirster, obviously the shield is nice, but it is such a big AD steroid. It allows you to do a ton of damage, especially with MF's double tap passive. If she hits, you know, tower, minion, it does just a bajillion, honestly. It's a lot.
situation in this game where as the game continues, MF looking like they're going to be building some heal cut items, the double black fire option coming out as the tankier side of the Garen Ornn seems to be the itemization focus. I think putting resources into trying to kill his Garen in this time in the game just isn't worth it. I think it's more important to try to create leads for your MF partners through killing and securing other objectives across the map as third dragon spawns in a minute. I just don't like how much pressure they're putting on. Never mind, the flash ultimate's gonna come down the slow. Oh, they're gonna get so much damage, so much value from Nico's ultimate. The death timer will not be enough to prevent Ulcer from being up for this dragon.
Yeah, and I do want to call it, I think that was a really good punish from Dog, right? Because we just saw Seraphine use the Encore in that 2v2 bot lane earlier, so they know she doesn't have any way to peel herself. They knew she was without flash, without heal, and Ryan could be in trouble.
Oh, he cancels it, he casts the R, that's going to be the spell shield. Oh my gosh, what a stylistic Yasuo play, using the wind wall to prevent Nico from doing damage, while the Ivern secures with the HP. Just so good, and they will have the numbers advantage now going into Dragon here, with Garen on the flank. Flash available from Nico, he will burn it. He does have his shield up, he will cast it, it will give him some more space. Nico takes some serious damage, but everyone is showing here, except for Ornn. They have no TPs from the top side of the map. Karthus ult is available.
Oh, sorry, I had a yawn. That was a great play from Neversaw there. She had a massive flank in the enemy blue side jungle as Ornn getting dove.
Ooh, he was able to get away, but he's kind of in a rough situation, right? He's pretty low on HP. The cooldowns come through. The secure. Oh no! 1 for 1! That's actually going to be a positive gold thing for Brissy. I believe it's 100 gold positive for him. But with the wave crashing without TP.
Also, you're an Ornn. You know, I think 1 for 1s are good for you. Brissy got all of the XP from the minions.
Wrong. There was a cast from the Karthus ult, so the gold was split. But it doesn't matter, as it looks like Ornn will get his revenge from his teammate as Neversaw. She picks up the solo kill onto Asian Justin in that jungle, just looking to be a nuisance on this Garen pick.
Yeah, I mean, Neversaw with her W fully stacked is already taking so little damage from enemy champions, enemy towers, everything. Just a complete nuisance as she sidesteps the ult from way there.
Holy.
Wow. Sorry, I'm just in shock. That was immediate.
There's no way to I think the cast time is too short.
I completely agree. I think that was 100% a predict. That was just incredible. Yeah. I completely agree now.
They're going to have Garen match the Renekton because they know he will not be able to kill. I should say the Renekton cannot kill the Garen, while Garen has kill threat just because of the XP and CS difference coming out in mid.
Yeah, I agree. And now we see Renekton going for, I'm not sure what item that is secondary. It could be like Spear or Shojin, but with no extra HP build.
He's gonna take that first tower though. He's gonna have the R available, looking to clear the way, picking up as much gold as he can. He does have flash. He's just looking for a way out. Garen wants something. They get the root, they get the ultimate, they get the kill secure, but they will lose that first tower. And I think in the eyes of Lokir, it is worth, but they potentially put their team in a devastating situation because now they can't look to Herald. They don't have a member of their team.
Yeah, that is the Herald being picked up by the side of GPR, and that's exactly what I was talking about. This Renekton does not match up overly well into the Garen, especially going it looks like either Ravenous or Profane Hydra.
Oh, Brissy's gonna be caught up. The ultimate's the slows. The healing coming out from Ivern will give him some more time, but Asian Jason, with the help of his teammates, will secure a kill as they look to trade the mid for bot tower. Across the map is Garen. Neversaw looking for something here. As Zach shows up, they will get the CC, they will get the lockup. MF ult is available. They will get the slow, gets the Beyblade, the spin to win. The Ignite getting dropped from the Leona, but too fast. The W has too much tenacity.
And you called it out earlier. I mean, Dog keep putting a lot of resources, like the Ignite right there, into catching this Garen, and it hasn't worked yet. I think at some point they need to give up and just start focusing elsewhere.
Totally agree. I think, as I say that, Neversaw might get a little too cocky here. The ultimate, the shutdown for Nico. Oh, Neversaw was really feeling themselves, and ends up getting punished. Brissy has to TP to catch the mid lane wave, hopefully protect this tower, but Nico
does have R still, does have that bullet time. The turret falls down to under 1,000 HP. They have Fog of War advantage because of the brush, but it looks like it's going to go away. Proton Plat potentially something, but I think that ultimate from the Nocturne, not Ivern, will fall.
I did want to correct myself earlier. I believe Renekton is going for Stride Breaker second. But Dognitas did prove me wrong there. They were able to pick up the kill onto the Garen. Gods can die in this case.
Neversaw is just, they think that they are unkillable, and for the most part they are, but there is a point when there's too many enemies of the opposing team that just have the damage numbers where you just can't walk into them that close. And without Flash, without Ghost, it's just not something you can really afford to be doing. And the Herald will come mid, look to crash. They need someone to catch this, and I think that person will have to be Asian Nation.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like he's still just going to be doing the Raptors this whole time, as they might just give over the tier 1 to Neversaw. I do think the Herald's a little early from GPR though. I think I would have preferred them to save it to use it to guarantee that the Dragon Prio, use 10-15 seconds to the Dragon spawning, and force somebody from Dog to catch that. But that's still a sizable amount of damage onto that mid turret.
But look at the itemization coming out from MF. So MF's W, right? It gives her the strut, it gives her additional movement speed. We see a lot of players taking advantage of the fact that that passive is free gold value. With boots getting increased in cost, we're seeing a lot of players opt to not finish boots. We've earlier seen that in this game with the magical footwear being just enough. Magical footwear, I believe, gives an additional 10, and most boots.
It is an additional 10, yeah.
Movement speed, so she's actually only 10 MS slower than upgraded boots with magical, and with her passive, just as fast, if not faster. So there's not enough reason to drop 1,000 gold to finish an item. So just gonna pick up that Mortal Reminder, has the BF sword, or it's not BF sword 2, but also Bloodthirster on this third dragon or fourth.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's really smart itemization coming out from Nico here. He knows he's ahead, he knows he's the carry, and he's itemizing just pure damage because that's what he needs to do. Is Hamia caught out here?
No, Hue will fall as ult, and massive ult comes down from the Seraphine as the bullet time is actually cancelled. A 5-man ultimate coming down from the likes of Jason as he goes in. He knows he's going to die here. He wants the team as much as possible. We're going to see ultimates come out from both low. No members of their team will fall as the healing is too much. A quadra kill, almost a penta for Neversaw in game number 4. Going back to back in a massive gold swing. They're going to get the 4th dragon. They're going to get the mid tower. They turn their eyes to Baron here. And oh my gosh, this Garen is so fed.
I mean, Garen, just the hero of that play, picking off Hamia. Hamia wasn't even able to flash because of the silence from the Garen Q, and then coming back into the fight without R, and Garen's just spin on 2 items is so strong. It's so much DPS and is able to pick up all the kills. We see Hue falling there. We see the Encore able to knock up the Leona. Like you called out, the MF's ult gets canceled, and Neversaw runs back in and is able just to clean up the fight.
Yeah, I mean, they just, where E is able to get so much damage, especially around the concentrated area. And with the Baron games here, we're seeing a pretty large gold swing in their way. The early dragons coming out from Dog, slowly not meaning too much. I do want to say, though, is this game is not over. MF is still such a strong champion. They are level 12. Ryan is sitting on that Yasuo at level 13. And he's going to be continuing to scale. But look at the gold leads. Look where the gold is. Look where the money is. It's
I mean, the gold is all on Garen, right? If you are able to kill Garen a single time, either in a fight or before a fight, a lot of the gold at GPR goes down the drain.
Yeah, about 1/4 of their gold of their entire team is just sitting on Neversaw. And while she does a lot of damage, like any champion in the league, they can die. No champion is immortal. This isn't some Trendemir game. So there is always the chance to punish. Neversaw looking to play around the vision. Goes, flashes onto Hue, gets a silence. He's gonna be able to secure everything and just yeah, you just gotta have the reaction speed to flash the moment that happens. Because there's no counterplay. Spin to one.
Yeah, I mean, that was without the ult as well, so Neversaw saving that for a further play.
Meanwhile, we're seeing a CC lock onto lock. Just can't move. Takes 2/3 of his HP just trying to walk into mid lane from top.
For sure. And I do want to call out the Orton has hit level 14 and did upgrade Neversaw Stridebreaker, so that Garen getting more attack speed, getting more AD, getting more HP. A lot of stats that Garen likes. And Orton hitting 15 as well. That's another item upgrade coming in. Dog in a very dire situation. Waves being pushed in by Baron, towers falling, Ornn upgrades coming in.
They need to make
Flash,
a play here
what do you
somewhere.
think they can do? What does the Renekton, what does the MF need to do to help them win this game? What can they do to come back?
I think it's hard, Juan, but I think something that they can do is look to take out Yas, take out the Ivern, take out a champion who isn't Garen. Garen has so much tenacity that the only way you're really killing him is by him forced to stay alive to help his teammates win a fight. It looks like Low is going to get engaged on. He's going to fall quite low, but looks like we're going to see Ace Jason provide some cover. It's going to be a 4v4. Looks like Waves matching him, but the bullet time comes down, forces him to flash away. It looks like Brisk is going to pass his ultimate down. He's going to get to provide some space as we're going to see Proton Plat player not going to be able to keep Ryan alive. The ultimate comes down from Bolster. The Seraphine, they are cooking. They will fall, though. Looks like Brissy is going to like to secure the Karthus. He will also get that kill, but MF still doing some necessary damage. Auto. That might be enough. The CC will come through as a triple kill for Brissy on the Ornn, the unkillable champion. Oh my god, the Warlock, Fighter, Wizard, Tank, Monk, everything. This guy's a barbarian.
way!
And
Never
another
saw picked
kill.
up the kill there.
Oh my, this game is looking dire for Dog as they're into game 4. As Never saw might be 1 HP, but looks for it, and they're gonna get another kill.
Gets
after
the
complete
crit!
ace.
I cannot believe that. I don't know if we're able to pull up the items real quick, but that should be a 20% crit that she just hit to kill Hami there before he gets flashed away. We have a second crit item, but still, that's it's 50%. Still, that's a coin flip that Hamia dies there and is unable to flash away. I also want to mention, Ornn Sunfire did so much work in that topside fight. Obviously, Proton Plat player kept throwing the shields onto Ornn, onto Brizzy that entire time. But Brizzy staying next to everyone, staying in the mix of it, was able to put out so much damage from that upgrade in Sunfire.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you can see this fight bot just poked us so much here, but it doesn't matter because he just gets bursted down before he can really even have the opportunity to flash away. And without R, it's just not enough. And then Hums walks too far over, and just the crit, the everything. He's just doesn't have any spells left. He doesn't play the range.
Yeah, I mean, and this is what I was talking about. The Renekton going Stridebreaker second is nice if you're really ahead and you want to catch somebody. But there are not a lot of squishes that you want to catch on the side of GPR. I would have much preferred like a Therex Gauge. Because the Renekton has Therex Gauge there, that fight can go wildly different because you might survive the Garen R when it procs, or Garen has to wait to ult you, and then he doesn't get the Triumph reset. And small itemization choices like this can matter as Dak just gets deleted with the sword from the heavens. This Garen is unstoppable. What can you do as GPR is marching down mid lane? They might look to end the game here.
They potentially can. Baron's buff is slowly going away, so they're going to need to get some additional help. They do have enough shielding through the Seraphine, and Ryan is just on the dragon himself. They're looking to keep the tempo advantage in all aspects of the game, and Dog just have not been able to secure a meaningful kill onto this jungler the entire time. It doesn't matter that he's down by nearly 70 CS. He's just providing so much utility in these support items. It's so cheap. The tempo, the everything. Nico looking for something with his team, but it's just looking dire.
Garen also picked up the IE as he could be in trouble here, or as she could be in trouble here. Never saw ghosting away, trying her best. The Stridebreaker coming out from the Renekton.
This could be everything. Never saw will get healed up. Will actually misstep into the redemption as they're forced to walk away, and they're just gonna have to bait in. Poke has something.
Oh no, Zach!
And that looks desperate. Ryan is there on the Nexus towers. They look to turn on to Brissy. Brissy's able to get out, but look who is on your base right now. That is the swordsman himself. Both of them actually looking to pull pressure, almost kiting out the entire team, splitting them with the focus. Brissy just walks back up, pulls the focus again. The waves are all there. A fight needs to break out. Oh, Loke goes in. That's going to be Brissy. Horn, he will get stunned up, but he actually still able to get the Ornn thing through as Zach is going to fall without the ultimate, without anything. Seraphine, the bullet time, 3 members will not be enough, as meanwhile Never Saw just jumps onto both of them. The ultimate sword will come down, but it still kills. Auto attack in the fountain. But we're going to see, can Karthus clutch up with his mid laner Might not be enough. 3 members of the opposing team. Garen finally falls. They have 1 Nexus turret left. Can Hui be the carry? Can he clear enough minions? I don't think so. This might be a 3-1 reversal coming out as Hui not able to do enough damage. The shielding from Ryan is too much. Proton Plat just keeping that healing. What a game.
Yeah, what a fantastic game. I mean, obviously, and I'm going to personally say this, I think an MVP performance from Neversaw there, putting the team on her back
God.
in most of the games, performing when she needs to. Obviously, we had the Nasus game, we had the Vlad game, now the Garen game. Really, really great overall. But once again, I think it was Dragons were a name of the game. Dog got 2
Yeah.
early ones, but then they gave over 3 again, and it just got out of control. Now, normally the Chemtech Drake is a weaker Drake, but I think with their comp, with these full shield comps, with the Garen, that extra ability to survive when low, the extra stats that it give, make you really, really hard to kill.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think the thing about ganking Private Ryan is stop ganking Neversaw. Like, stop putting resources into this guy because as like on the champions like Aaron, because she is doing so well. She is doing fine. They don't matter if you gank them. Doesn't matter if you get a kill on them. They know that they're gonna have more gold than you. The question is, can you affect the other lanes on the map? Can you get leads in the bot lane? Can you get leads in your jungle? Can you get leads in your top? Because if you can't do that, you are going to be even there and Neversaw will be ahead and you will lose. And we saw that in game one. Neversaw was even and a little bit ahead into the Yone, the Zero matchup, and everywhere else was winning. In games 2, 3, and 4, Neversaw, she was stomping everyone. So much value was put in trying to kill her throughout the mid game, and it never happened. She kept getting away, and in doing so, resources were spent on her rather than her teammates, and almost tunnel visioned the opposing team into just throwing away their other opportunities to win.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best. I mean, ganking Private Ryan might even be the cheat code to how to beat them, right? You might need to put more focus into shutting down Ryan, shutting down the bot lane, and winning through that because that's what worked for them game one. I will say I'm a little bit disappointed. I would have liked to see another Yone game from Hamia or another melee mid because he performed
Yeah,
so well on those melee mids game one, and those mages that he played later in the series just did not look quite as sharp. So I would have liked, especially in this game four, more of a confidence pick to come out rather than this way.
yeah. I will like to give kudos to Loke where it's deserved. He picked the Renekton. Was confident. He was able to get some solo kills on the top side and pull a lot of pressure. I know Ornn did outscale the Renekton later into the game, but I do think he still deserves his praise for that performance later. Um, and also Nico had a very strong Ziggs game, but I don't think the MF was really the answer that their team needed. Provided a lot of value, but just too much reliance on the bullet time that was easily countered by a champion like Yasuo that is in Ryan's pool. So a lot of really good play. At the end of the day, it is a team game, and ganking Private Ryan showed that they were the overall better team. Two dogs, Dognitas had a lot of strong moments from every single one of them, but at the end of the day, we saw ganking Private Ryan. They had stronger moments. They had less mistakes. They had better plays, and in doing so, they're coming away 3-1 entering into grand finals.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think you put it best. I think all 10 players like genuinely played really well at an individual level. I don't think anybody like griefed or had like some egregious misplays. I think everyone played at a really, really solid level. But GPR just played better as a team, and I think they played better to their win conditions every game. They understood what they needed to do, and they played towards that, and they were rewarded for it. It was relatively simple when it came down to it.
Yep. So with that, there is, I believe, 2 series left in the Summit season, the third place tiebreaker game and the grand finals. They will be posted in the server, the Summit Esports server that you can join in the Twitch description if you're not already there. And you can come and find out when our next game is. Make sure you're following the channel so you're notified when we start streaming. We will have those games in the foreseeable future. But for now, that is it. We have just finished up the semifinals, and thank you so much, Juan, for casting with me. It's been a great pleasure having you. This was such a fun series. Thank you. This was awesome. Do you have anything you want to say?
No, I just same to you, Flash. It was a joy, man. Really. I thank you to both the teams. Always, I know it's hard to lose. It's also very hard to win. League is not an easy game, so I just appreciate both the teams coming out, putting their time into it. Uh, being the entertainment for everyone watching, being the entertainment for you and I casting. Having the opportunity to do this is very fun. And I also enjoyed casting with you, Flash. So thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. And with that, we will be ending this stream. We look forward to seeing all of you guys come here again for the grand finals and third place match to cheer on these teams. And hopefully, in the future Summit seasons, you can see some of the names you saw here today play in future seasons down the road. If you are interested in participating, please join the server and look into applying. We'd love to have everyone. And thank you guys so much for watching.